All right, we're live. This is in lieu of the fact that Albino Rhinos Beard Dweebs United did not happen. Um, so we're going to try to do something here. Just a place for the usual regulars and beer dweebs to hang out because we're creatures of routine and habit. So we're all looking for that Wednesday night fucking fix that. Rhino cannot provide tonight because apparently he's still sick. So, yeah.
Is he still sick, or is it just doesn't give a shit?
Well, he did a video today on the Canadian Beer Awards, and he said that he was still feeling under the weather, and he wasn't sure if Beer Dweebs Unite was going to happen tonight or not. So
okay, good. Maybe he's just relaxing.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's invited to come in here anyway. So if he's feeling up to just sitting here and not doing anything, then
just
he can come in.
Ring of the new dawn, right?
Basically, do what half the panel members typically do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just roll in and just sit there, not have
listen to Joe talk.
Yeah, listen to or Paul. All right, or Paul.
So I invited everyone who's under my Beer Dweebs list on Google Plus. So if I forgot anyone, if anyone comes in on the fucking comments, I'll be monitoring the comments, and they want me to invite them. I may or may not invite you. It all depends on whether I like you or not.
Fair enough.
And if you're in my circles and shit, I gotta figure all that shit out. But we have Average Joe with us. We have Nick, Mad Max Star, and what are you two motherfuckers drinking?
Well, I just got in the door, so I haven't grabbed a beer yet.
God damn.
Fuck.
You're letting the entire country down, Nick.
Sorry.
I got rid of the bottle because I rinsed it out, but forgot to bring it back. I am drinking from Paul. Paul sent me a beer mail, a return beer mail from a beer mail I sent him like a month ago, and he sent one back, and I'm drinking one of the hoppy beers that he sent me. Simcoe Must Be Destroyed from Springhouse Brewing Company, a local beer.
Sounds cool.
And yeah, it's pretty good. It's really weird because when he reviewed it, I think it was relatively fresh, like 3 or 4 weeks old. I think my bottle's like around 3 months old, just because it's a seasonal, so it's not like something they brew all the time. And they don't bottle date because who the fuck bottle dates, right? Let me go into Greg rant. But it's really good. I've noticed something with aged double IPAs. Maybe Nick can chime in here because I know Nick sits on a lot of beer as well, kind of like I do, and sometimes you just forget about shit. But when I get an aged double IPA, it turns into this like orange marmalade heaven, which is crazy. The malt comes forward, you still get like this orange citrusy character, and that's kind of what this is doing, still with some hop profile.
Barley wine kind of, because I sat like
Yeah,
it wasn't my, but I had a Duda CL's Shaman. It was about like a year or so old, and really tasted like it wasn't hoppy anymore so much, but it actually really tasted almost like a barley wine, like a or a barley wine or something like that. It was tasty.
Or like very, very akin to like a Fuller's Vintage Ale, believe it or not. Like it for me, like this is like the third double IPA that I've either had a little older or accidentally forgot to drink, and it was like a year and a half old. Or the only beer that I actually sat down was Bell's Hop Slam for a year, and I actually have another bottle of it open. Oh, wow. But it's like you get this like honey character that comes to the forefront, caramel, like toasted white bread, and then you get the orange citrusy, and it tastes like liquid orange marmalade. It's fucking awesome, but it's like no longer double IPA.
Some, but not all the hops have faded completely away.
Yeah.
Like, it still leaves some of the taste behind, like resin and stuff like. But it also you get a big malt character coming right out that normally balances those hops.
Yeah, this isn't that old, 3 to 4 months. So I still get like, I told Paul on Facebook because he doesn't show up to 10, but I told him I'm getting like a little bit of like a tropical fruit, like more of like a meaty tropical fruit, like papaya, guava, no coconut, like a papaya, a guava, and almost like a melon rind. So nothing like a super like juicy tropical fruit. But I mean, I'm sure everyone has eaten papaya before. Or if not, it's similar to like melon. It's like fleshy and meaty, and not really super juicy like a watermelon or something like that nature. But it's it's pretty good. It's just I don't think it's what Paul was drinking when he reviewed it. I also don't think obviously it's what they intended to be, but at the same time, it's fucking good. Which shows you that a beer, even though they can throw it out there and say, "Hey man, drink it fresh," this is probably 3 or 4 months old. It's still fucking pretty tasty. So I don't know.
Well, even if we're a year old, I'd still drink a Pliny.
Well, that's cool. Like when you think about it, a lot of these big beers you see these days, the only thing that really differentiates them from like a barley wine is the fact that they've hopped the fuck out of it. I mean, and and of course it hasn't been sitting in a barrel for 2 years.
No, that's true.
Big hop backbone. Yeah, it's just basically the hops are different.
I mean that's what kind of differentiates the difference between like an English and American barley wine too. Like you get the English barley wine, say a 10% English barley wine, it's all malt character, fresh, and you might get a little bit of like an earthiness or an herbaceous kind of character. Because a lot of the English barley wines, they don't come off as citrusy or tropical fruit. It's more like the English style. So
English hops, right?
What's that? The English hops. Yeah, so that's what
you get the earthiness, and generally you get like a fruitcake character.
Yeah, like it's
earthy.
Yeah, it's not. It's more of like a dark fruit kind of like.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's what you kind of expect. But you get an American barley wine. That's where I think a lot of people, the line between American barley wine and triple IPA are kind of blended and blurred, and just people like when you get a triple IPA, a lot of people drink and be like, I can't tell the difference between this and American barley wine.
Be like a Dogfish Head 120 or something.
Yeah, that's just a crazy fucking beer.
Yeah. So, just a final word on Joe. Cat piss or no cat piss at this point?
No cat piss in the Simcoe. To be clear, though, and Brad, we're getting some feedback, baby. Come on, Brad. Brad, this man hot.
Echo.
With your headset.
Feedback. Back.
He's gonna plug it in. It's gonna
Is that better?
Yeah, better, baby. That's how we go.
There we go. We got Brad.
Yeah, Brad, baby.
What are you drinking, Brad? What are you drinking, Bradley?
A protein smoothie.
Oh, goddamn, you would here, baby. You would open the house, baby. If you would fly. If you would the Dragon Steamboat.
See, Nick's not drinking anything right now, and you made him look better.
Well, Brad has his shirt off, man. He gotta be prepared, so that protein drink goes right to his hot abs. You asked about the Simcoe. This isn't. It's funny. They named the fucking. This is crazy. They named the beer Simcoe Must Be Destroyed. What would you think? You would think probably single hop with Simcoe, right? You would probably think that.
At the very least, like dominated, like fucking dry hop Simcoe or wet hop Simcoe or something like that. Like
They don't release a lot of information, Springhouse, but it's Simcoe, Amarillo, and Chinook, so I'd imagine Simcoe still dominates, but no Cadpy, not even like a huge like dank character you kind of get from Simcoe, which can be confused with the whole Cadpy thing. Some people get it, some people don't.
Any better?
Greg has a boner right now.
Yeah, right? Congratulations, you've given Greg a hard on, Nick.
Well, it's a few months old, so it's probably lost a little.
But Greg hasn't lost a little. He's still up there.
Still a rock hard.
He's got a little pudgy on the boner part. Still
he saw the label and instantly got out like the Vaseline. It was go time. He knew it was up. But yeah, so it's cool. What are you drinking, Lee?
I am drinking a Red Racer.
Mm-hmm.
The upskirt beer.
That's right, Redhead upskirt beer.
Can you guys get the ISA down there yet or not?
The what?
The session ale. You need a Red Racer session ale.
No, I think we are profoundly lucky to even get this at this point. But I mean, the fact that we've gotten it now probably bodes well for us getting their other beers in the next couple months, I imagine. That seems to be the way things have been happening lately in the NSLC, so I'm pretty optimistic.
Nice.
I don't want.
Go rock pretty well. Like Vickers Cross, I would love to get that regularly. Holy shit! I had a month-old bottle of that a couple weeks ago. Oh, God, it was delicious.
Yeah, I'd love to get it regularly as well. It sells out like a motherfucker here so quick, and then it takes like a couple, maybe sometimes even a couple months for it to fucking show up again. So,
I like the. I don't remember a lot, but the next chapter that Nick brought to to Rhino's Fest or whatever. We had that late Friday night before the fest, and that was actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, that
Seems
was like, how old was that? I think that was, like, I brought it up. The fest was in the beginning of May, and I think that bottle was at either the beginning of April or end of March. But it wasn't very old. It was actually quite fresh.
It wasn't mind blowing, but it was like, I think it was what, a rye IPA, rye pale ale, something of that nature.
Yeah, it was a rye IPA collaboration brew with the former head brewer from Picaroons.
Yeah, it was good.
Right on.
I just wanted to mention, I don't want to try to pronounce it, but Le Troy Musketeers or whatever, that brewery, right? They do, yeah, them. I have terrible pronunciation from anything from
I know what you mean.
back, but they actually have showed up here in good old America. They're Hoppin' Vice, and their Goza of all things just showed up. Yeah, they're fucking Goza. They have a Goza.
Because you're like one of the only people I know that love Gozas. Like,
I like
Still never
Gozas.
tried one.
I like Gozas. I think Gozas are a perfect summer beer. Like it's refreshing, and the salt in there rehydrates you a little bit, but there isn't many examples. I think that's one of the few examples. It's an older style that has just started, popping up. But you'll see more and more Canadian breweries start brewing it just because it's become a popular style. I mean, a year ago there's probably 2 or 3 on the shelves. Now there's probably closer to double digits, and at least here. So, but that one from Canada shows up, and I'm like, there's like 5 on the shelves from America, and this one from Quebec shows up, and I'm like, I don't even know if they carry this in Ontario. Like, what is happening? It was $5 though for like a 12-ounce bottle, and I was like, I don't know. I don't want to try it that much. I don't think yet, but I probably will.
I thought they only did Bombers. What brewery is that?
Yeah, I thought they did too, but I'm pretty sure it was in a fucking 12 or maybe 12.7, maybe 375, something like that. It wasn't a big bottle. So.
Okay, we do have 2 comments. Guy just responded to the invite saying he's got to work, so he's not going to show up. Have a good night there, sir. And Bylaws. I don't know. I think he has to go to bed for work tomorrow or something like that.
Okay.
So, and Greg Bylog says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Difficult to see you guys with my boner in the way, but once Nick is done drinking the bottle, I should be all right." So that's good.
I haven't even opened it yet. He's gonna have, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, you should see a doctor.
You should.
That'd be painful.
No, if it lasts more than 4 hours, you should see a lot of ladies.
Yeah.
And Greg is doing neither of those things. He's probably just going to drink some more Black Oak.
Once Nick opens a bottle, he should be all right. There'll be a literal explosion and a figurative explosion.
A relief.
Yeah, a relief. Oh.
Release.
Okay. Just checking. Oh, there we go. Rhino actually replied to my comment, so let's see what he's doing. I think he's too sick. So it's still 6 more days until I'm allowed to drink, and that is on the basis that I'm a different prescription by then. So he's on drugs, so he can't do anything tonight.
He's on the antibiotics, baby.
On drug.
Yeah.
The druggy.
All right, well, that's too bad. Get well soon, Rhino. 6 more days, so technically he should be all right by next Beer Dweebs. So,
yeah,
because that'll be 7 days from now. So there you go.
2 many days.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. So I think anyone have any topics they want to bring up to talk about as far as beer goes?
Well, I guess one thing I could say about New Brunswick beer news is there's a new brewery that we've got that's producing some beer. It's Distillerie de Fillois. Basically, like, was it Ladies of the King or something? Remember, what was the name of that beer? Blanche de Chambly, I think it was. Actually, had a story about the Fillois on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. It's a brewery from the Acadian North Shore of New Brunswick, up by like Bathurst. It's like Petite something or other, like the northeast. Anyway, they've been making like distilled spirits for the last couple of years. So they have I guess they have a nice gin, an ice vodka. They even make an absinthe the real way, according to Dawn.
Oh,
But
really?
they just started producing beer. Then the first two beers they produced is a Bier de Garde and an Eisbock.
Huh.
So it's insane. The Eisbock is making its way into stores in bottle form, and we just had the Bier de Garde on growler fill last week, and actually I've reviewed it. I got a review forthcoming for it, and they're not bad.
Right on. Makes me wonder, like, do you have any details on what they do with their ice bock? Like, did they just brew a traditional straight ice bock, or did they, like, flavor it with anything like, say, Bush Pilot did?
I don't think they flavored it with any. I'm not sure if they flavored it with anything. It's completely in French, and I'm an Anglo.
Yeah.
My thoughts on it is like it's an ice bock. It sounds like probably what they did is they actually did the entire ice process where they skim the ice crystals out of the beer. So I haven't had it yet. Hardly anybody's had it so far. Like it's right now it's available in some North Shore stores and in Moncton. So
Well, that's cool. I'm always interested to see if someone can pull that off because, I mean, in the 90s, like, the ice beers were very popular, and they're basically just a semi-retarded form of ice bock, like just a sort of macro bullshit version of that kind of beer.
every time I think of... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's always nice to see, like, a craft brewery / distillery or whatever try to take that style and make it work, make it good.
So every time I think about 1990s ice beer, I think of Michael Ironside. Those are maximum ice commercials.
I think you'll have to, like, for American viewers, you'll have to be a bit more descriptive on that. If any of them even know who Michael Ironside is at this point.
Yeah, I know. Like I guess how long ago was he cool?
Well, I still think he's cool, but I mean that doesn't mean anything because I'm thoroughly stuck in the past, But if you
what was the famous movie he was in? He was in something big.
He was in Scanners. He was in the first Scanners.
Okay.
It's the bad guy Scanner. American audiences might know him better for like the second or third season of Sequest DSV or whatever the fuck that show was. He took over for Roy Schneider or Roy Schreider in the role of the captain or whatever. But he's a very famous Canadian character actor, and if you saw him, you'd know him. He was also the principal in Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou.
On Total Recall, that's where I remember.
Yes, and Total Recall. There you go, Brad.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's it. He was like a villain in Total Recall, wasn't he?
That's right. Yes.
Anyway, he showed up in this commercial, and there's like it's really dark, and there's badass lightning strikes anywhere, and he's there looking just like Connor McLeod out of the Highlander with long flowing hair and doing this spiel on how ice beer is fucking amazing, like the greatest revolution in beer or something. I mean, we're talking about like 92 or something. I just remember those commercials when I was a kid.
Jesus Christ, I have to see the commercial now, because when the fuck ever did Michael Ironside have long flowing hair? He was always bald.
I don't remember that.
Apparently 23 years ago, Lee. 23 years ago.
It's on the Retro Ontario channel on YouTube.
I will check that out. That would be interesting to see.
The thing with him is a lot of American folks will, as soon as you see the face, you'll know who exactly.
Oh yeah, you'll know who he is.
Exactly.
I mean, because he's one of those Canadian character actors who actually made his money in the U.S. Like he did more stuff in the U.S. to make his money than in America. Like you see a lot of Canadian actors, and they're those guys you see in every fucking movie, over the last 20, 30 years. Oh, I recognize that guy, and you just don't know who his fucking name is, and you didn't know he's Canadian or whatever, but
There, I just posted it on your thread on Facebook there, Lee.
Awesome.
I gotta see this. I see now why he shaves his head. Lapat Maximum Ice.
Yeah, no.
Oh god.
Try that beer.
Oh my god.
I bet it's terrible, but I still want to try that beer.
There's probably
Let,
some
let me ask you
bottles.
guys a question for ice beer. What has there been any new ice beers that have been released in the last couple of years that you can think of?
Well, the Bush Pilot, they did their ice block. That's the only. That's the
Okay,
only-
okay, like an actual shitty ice. let's not say
Well-
ice bock. Let's say shitty ice, like adjunct lager ice beer.
Well, what's Bud Light Platinum supposed to be? I assume they do the same process with that shit.
We need Jay in here, to be honest.
Yeah,
we
he
can't
can
answer that.
those.
We can't answer that.
Bud Light Platinum was bad. I remember that.
Michael
Yeah.
Ironside from Starship Troopers.
Oh my god,
The movie.
that's quite the wig.
Yeah.
That was the movie, right?
Because there's
What's
no way
Starship
there is no way he grew that hair. There's
We need a miracle for this movie. Okay. I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Maximum Ice. I remember that beer too. I remember seeing that beer in the fucking store.
I'm
Is
glad
it-
I remember nothing
Yeah,
of it.
to have a fucking Scottish broadsword in that thing. It's just it looks like Connor McLeod.
It's totally Highlander, yeah. He's totally trying to be fucking what's his face from Highlander.
Oh,
Connor
there's the
McLeod.
commercial.
Or what's his name? His real name.
Oh shit.
Chris something, isn't it?
Chris Lambert, Christopher Lambert. Yeah.
Christopher Lambert. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, French guy playing a fucking Scottish guy. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Although Highlander 2,
Well,
the
then you had a
Quickening,
Scottish guy playing a gypsy, so.
yeah, playing a Spanish fucking immortal. I'm from Spain. I'm Sean
That's
Connery. I'm
exactly
from fucking Spain. Sean Connery did that in every movie, though. In Red October, he was, I'm a Russian. Pretty much.
I think it sounded more authentic to Russian with that. You kind of believed it.
I'm Sean Connery. I'm a Russian. I'm Spanish. I'm American,
You
baby.
should believe him anyway. Yeah.
All right. I think we have one viewer. One viewer.
I'm not seeing the thing pop up on YouTube, but then again, YouTube's stupid, so maybe it's just not updating for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
just
find it.
gay, no. It's just
It's
totally
it's
gay.
YouTube.
On G Plus, so.
Yeah.
You know, for being as awesome as Google and YouTube are, and let's the grand scheme of things, YouTube and Google is fucking fantastic. We wouldn't know one another. It wouldn't, we wouldn't have beer reviews. It's an awesome site. What are you doing, YouTube? Google, what are you doing? You fuck everything up. Every update shit. Get it
It's not
together.
in the subscriber feed, that's for sure.
No, it's
Every
not.
time they gotta change a font on something, it fucks everything up. It's like, god damn it.
It's like, and you might be convinced to go to another site like Dailymotion or something like that, and then you
Yeah.
realize it's like, holy shit, those are just terrible. Like those are cool for certain things, just terrible otherwise. So it's like I'll put up with fucking Google's bullshit, but at some point there's gonna be some kind of like game-changing fucking bug they introduce that's just gonna make people just irate and be like, I don't know, man,
Yeah.
Dailymotion's looking kind of attractive right now.
Yeah, Vimeo is what fucking independent movie directors use to release their trailers and stuff. Dailymotion is what perverts use to watch softcore porn, and I'm not judging. I'm one of them.
Or like illegal like shoot videos from wrestling. I mean, well, I didn't say that. It was
no, that never happens. And like other than that, no one watches Dailymotion. And yeah, YouTube's the only game in town, really. It's
Yeah.
the only one that does everything. So
And like I said, I mean, everyone bashed on it, but I mean, YouTube itself is just fantastic. I mean, it's awesome, but like when they integrate it with Google, it's like Google comes in and just throws these little updates or little tweaks, and it's just like it breaks certain things, and you just sit there going like, how can this fuck with this? Like they made this, like you said, like update the font, and all of a sudden you can't ever watch a live show ever again. Like I don't know, how does that work?
Like
That should
Facebook,
never
you do
happen.
whatever the fuck you want to the service because nobody's going to leave it anyway.
yeah, that's the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing. And say what you will about Google, this Hangout service is infinitely better than Skype. It works so much better than Skype.
Oh yeah.
I can believe it. I mean, I'm sure in a lot of respects, like Skype might have better like sound quality, and you can, especially if you're like one-on-one. That's the one thing I've noticed about Google Plus. Like if you do like a one-on-one kind of just like Google Plus Hangout, it doesn't seem like the actual audio or the quality is any better than if you have 8 people in there. It all depends on your like individual connections.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Skype, if you're doing individual, is probably better. But like as far as a group chat goes, I'm sure this blows Skype away. You know?
Oh yeah, Skype you can't really do a group chat. It fucks up a lot. Like I said, like just speaking as a guy who does podcasts regularly now, I prefer to do it when Skype. I'd rather do it in Skype and just strip the audio later on. So,
no,
Joe's cooking out here for a little while. He'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's coking out, is he?
Coking out, yeah. He's going to do a line of coke off a stripper's ass.
Lucky bastard.
Stripper's ass.
Joe knows how to live it up on a Wednesday night, I'll say that.
It's night to hell.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, we do have some comments here. Let's see. Bylog says, for those of you who play video games, Michael Ironside was the voice of Sam Fisher in all but the latest Splinter Cell games. When they replaced him in the last one, people lost their shit. It's also pretty cool in Starship Troopers. Yeah, he was good in that too, with the one arm and shit. Yeah. He said,
in a movie most from the Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that's probably like the most modern one that he's known for, because other than that, he did a lot of like independent shit and direct-to-video stuff. Bylog also says the notification didn't pop up on YouTube for me. I had to go through Google Plus. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Like I sent the invite. I didn't send the invite out publicly. I just sent it out to the people who are in my Beer Dweebs group for Google Plus. So, reviewing under the influence is private video, all secretive and shit. Cheers, buds. You should have got the invite there. Reviewing under influence. I was looking through my Beer Dweebs group and I realized I didn't have you on that one. I had you under my friends or whatever, so I added you to that before I sent the invite. So I don't know, maybe Google takes a while to catch up or shit. But if you didn't get the invite, let me know and I will bring you in. Bylog says the Google Plus Hangout app is still fucked up under the iOS devices, crashes for me every 15 minutes or so. Been like this for around a year, despite numerous updates. Google is awesome, but in some ways they need to get their shit together. Yeah, and they never will, though. They'll never get their shit together because, like I said, they're the only game in town, really, and everyone will keep coming back to them. So,
it's like being stuck in a bad relationship. You hope it gets better.
Yeah, but
I don't have the courage to leave.
Once they, if you guys are still talking about YouTube and Google, is that what the comment was? 'Cause I just came back in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those things where once they want to be into, Brad, pull up your pants. Once they went to the integration of Google with YouTube and like all the comments and stuff. I understand why they did it, and I can't say they shouldn't have done it because it makes sense. But at the same time, it was like right then you knew it was like no longer YouTube on its own. It was a Google product.
Hey, Greg, how's your boner now? How's that look?
Well, taste it and see if it's still good, Nick. It might actually, not be all that.
Wow, it smells
all that hard.
Good.
It's like a little bit soft.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Just really dick teeth in there, Nick. Get some of that foam on your lips.
Oh, are you at work? Are you at work, Greg? Yeah, you gotta fuck the toilet.
We're gonna tease it, right? That teaser on the lip. Oh god.
Oh yeah. All right, so does anyone else got any like beer topics they want to bring up before we? Well, I know Joe suggested some other stuff that we should talk about later.
We could do that a little bit later for sure. I mean, I'm in and out, so it's like I'm going to miss half of the responses and stuff, so maybe like half an hour if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
What I basically want to do, just to let everyone know, all the one viewer that's watching, Greg, right now, I wanted to, Matt has a pair of his. He has a pretty good channel, and he does this show called, oh my God, Brad. He does his weekly show called Love Beer Radio, and
Yeah.
he has topics every week that I thought were kind of conducive to what we're doing tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice to throw him in there. The one week he did, like, the favorite styles of everyone, but, like, what you started with, how you came about your current favorite styles, and maybe some of your beginner styles, which you don't like anymore, things of that nature. How you review beer. I know you guys obviously all have YouTube channels and do reviews. Like, if you review beer to your personal taste, do you mix in goddamn phone? Do you mix in certain things like ratings and things that, or sorry, not ratings, styles? Do you availability, price, things of that nature? I thought was another good topic to throw out there, because it's always interesting. Like, if you were just to go into YouTube blind and you were going to look up beer reviews, I always find that, like, everybody's so different in terms of rating-wise and stylistically and how they rate. Like, a lot of people will rate to, like, BJCP certifications, or stylistically they'll rate. So they might hate the beer, but they're like, oh, it's a good Oktoberfest, so I'll give it a fucking 9 out of 10. And you're just sitting there like, but you don't really like it. How do you know what a good Oktoberfest is? Can you find faults with the beer? Can you determine what off flavors are for certain styles? Everybody here, we're all at the very best amateur beer reviewers. Like, we don't have BJCP certifications. We don't care to be. You do it for fun. But there's some people that do it to BJCP certifications, to judging qualities. Like, a lot of judges are BJCP certified, so they have to judge it on the style. But I always am curious how exactly. I always wonder how many people bring in price and, like, availability and things of that nature, because it's always. No, it's much like reviewing a beer. It's personal preference. So, I thought that would be a couple of cool topics to take from his show and do it over here, just because it's probably one and done on his show. And,
yeah, and I don't think we ever did it on, like, this one. Like, I'm pretty sure we've covered those topics sort of on Beer Dweebs, but on Hougly Live we've never really done it. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to be a little bit more in depth. Like, the only thing with Chad's BDUs, you have so many panel members typically, like sometimes 8 to 10, that everyone is so quick in their response. Like, how do you rate beer? Well, I rate it on personal preference. All right, go Nick. All right, Nick, go. Like, I'd like you to touch on why you rate it on personal preference. Why don't you bring in, say, availability or price? Why don't you bring in style? Like, what is your personal method? What's your thoughts of why you do it the way you do it? Because it's like a little in-depth thing. Like, you guys all have channels, but there's no, like, 20, 30-minute video of you guys doing an intro video with, like, here's how I rate beer, or, here's what there's none of that. It's like people watch your videos and go, okay, this guy's reviewing a video, they're reviewing a beer, it's 7 minutes long, I'm going to watch it. But they don't know, a lot of times they don't know the background unless they've been watching you for years. Like, they don't know your favorite styles, they don't know what styles you dislike. They see your rating, okay, you rate out of 5, you rate out of 100, you rate on a fucking letter grade scale, but why do you do that? And I always thought that would be cool to kind of,
Well, I appreciate Joey saying basically that, hey, it'd be better if we did it on Lee's piece of shit channel, where you can only get like 3 fucking panel members, so we can get better answers, because he's not going to get anybody who's worth a shit.
Have you seen any of Chad's subscribers? Don't hate me, subscribers of Rhino. Have you seen some of that? They don't care. They don't care. They're drinking their fucking Bud Ice and their fucking Bud Dry and their little bit. They don't care about any of that. No, it's just tough on Chad's channel, just because, like I said, typically, Brad says it a lot, because Brad wouldn't get invites to Chad's shit a lot of times, even though Chad was up 40. Sometimes there's so many guys that it's like, you just bam, bam, bam. You want people to get their fucking opinion out there quickly, because you want to get to the next panel member. Here, if you have 4 or 5, we might be able to touch on certain things that we wouldn't be on there. So I think it's a little bit better. Yeah, I said it, Chad. A little bit better on Hougly's reviews. Fucking right, boys.
Better.
All right. I'll be right back.
Whether it's Chad's channel or Lee's channel, there's still a lot of Joe talking. So.
Joe,
I do have this video unlisted. That's why people aren't getting into this for some reason.
Yeah, man.
I had a question for Joe about crushing those lines out of an ass crack when he disappeared.
Needed to do another line. Or was it? Or was that B-Log that was doing coke? Or no, it was Joe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Out of the crack, though. That's crazy.
I'm gonna try to make this live. I didn't realize this fucking thing was.
It says
Well,
live. It's
live. It's just not listed, is it?
Yeah, that's the
No.
thing. It's unlisted. I'm just gonna try to fix that.
Donrig Old English with Maxwell Star.
Oh God, did you see that?
It's on my top of my subscriber list to watch. I haven't watched it. Did you guys chug it or?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you-
checked it.
I was gonna say, yeah, you guys all got a bottle.
It was labeled out, checked, complete with shoutouts too. Although
I think I did a chug of that. Well, way back. It wasn't that fun.
For malt liquor, Old English was bad.
No, I think it's one of the better. It's better than
Yeah.
Colt 45 for sure.
Oh hell yeah! But Colt 45 is just so cloyingly sweet.
Yeah.
But Old English was actually kind of smooth.
Yeah. It's
I find it depends on what bottle of Colt 45 you get. I've had far too many than I'd like to admit, but some of them are, the cloyingness isn't really there. It's fairly well balanced, but other times it's like so super fucking sweet it's disgusting.
I think I've only ever had Colt 45 once, and it was just sweet. It was gross.
label out boys.
At least it wasn't like Labatt Blue dry 10%.
Oh.
That 10.1 stuff from Quebec.
Is that Old English 8%?
I think so. I think it is.
In Canada it is, yeah. It's only like 6.6 or something in the U.S.
Oh, really? So our chug challenges are a little more hard here in
Old English
Canada.
malt.
Okay, well, okay. I can't find a way to unlist this as private now for some fucking reason.
Google Plus, they've made it.
Yeah, I'm going through Google Plus, see if I can do it there.
Oh, Jordan.
Go on the YouTube video, and then right above the avatar is a little privacy setting.
Yeah, I was clicking that, like the little lock or whatever,
Yeah,
and it wouldn't let me do anything. It wouldn't let me change anything.
that's wanky.
Yeah.
Wanky.
Sure.
Okay, let's try this. Edit post. No, okay, that's not right. Cancel. Just enable reshares. No. Let's try this. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I will go to the invite thing and I will just public. Maybe that will do it. Sharing this video call with the public will allow anyone in Google Plus to join. Oh, okay, that's not good.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, I don't think.
Do that.
Yeah, no thanks.
Like real ale guide on here.
No, that's not gonna happen.
You never know. Or Chad's.
No, that won't happen either. Because none of them are people.
What about the Crypt Keeper?
Oh Jesus, that will never happen. You'll never see that on one of my fucking chats.
Bicycle shorts are okay.
No, they're not
Unless
okay. They're never
on,
okay.
Unless they're on, dude. Not so good.
They're never okay. Let's be honest.
Maybe on women. Even so.
Anyway, Jordan, what are you drinking? And Greg just jumped in. And what are you drinking? So we'll go Jordan first.
Trappist Rochefort 8.
That's a good beer.
Very good.
I'm having a Nestle Pure Life water, and it's not so good.
And your
Yeah,
answer
we-
was not so good.
Did you have a good tug, at least?
Did you get it out of your system there, Greg?
You rubbed one out quick, or no?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Doesn't take me long. I'm very fit.
It doesn't take.
I've done this before. I know what I'm doing.
It's like 10 minutes to get it over with, 5 minutes to not feel awkward afterwards, and then jump.
5 minutes to pretend you didn't just do that?
5 minutes.
While watching a man hang out.
I'm alright. It's just a little raw.
I always say I need about 10 minutes for masturbation. For the act, and 9.5 minutes to cry.
All right, I think I solved the problem. I think I shared it to the public now. So
Let's have a look.
even if it says it's even if it says it's private now, I think I shared it to the public. So
Not yet. Not much.
What y'all drinking?
Water.
I'm drinking
Water.
Red Racer IPA.
I have a Black Oak's 10 bitter years.
Nice.
Did you buy that locally, Nick, or did you bring that up from Chad's Festival?
Actually, I did buy it locally. It showed up in NB liquor stores about a couple weeks before going to Chad's. So this bottle's probably about 2 months old.
Oh, okay.
Expensive fucker. It was like $8 a bottle.
Well, they're like close to 7 in Ontario, so you're only getting gouged for $1.
Well, it's a really good double IPA, but I noticed it's not quite as good as it used to be. They don't use Nelson Sauvin hops anymore in these, I guess.
No, unfortunately, it's not as good as it used to be when it was just a brewery exclusive, and it's also inconsistent. You get good ones, you get not so good ones.
Yeah. I mean, when they work, they fucking work. But Chad was saying something about how it's supply now. You can't get Nelson Sauvins because of apparently hops, the strains themselves were being stolen or something along the lines of people were just stealing. Basically, they were getting the hops through unauthorized channels. So now that it's all controlled, it's not available around there anymore.
Well, I know the original batch of bitter years were actually made by using women's pantyhose to like put hops inside the boil or whatever. I don't know if that enhances flavor or not.
I think that's the gimmick.
Well, I guess what happened is that when they dry hop the using the Nelson Sauvins, they turned to sludge. So
Yeah,
they lost a lot of the beer to sludge. So they were containing the hops in pantyhose so that they could filter it back out after they pulled it back out. Contain the sludge. That makes sense.
But it used to be like...
If you've ever dry hop before, it all turns into the same shit. If you don't filter or use a bag or a nylon, yeah, you can plug your system pretty easy. Same for pro brewery, same thing.
So are these used pantyhose or are they just like fresh pantyhose?
Well, they use they're fresh pantyhose for the hopping, but then they add some used panties for flavor.
Oh,
The used panties to add a slight tang to it.
It's not like using holy water. That's just.
And then in some cases that's like an oyster stout.
Nice.
I hope they don't add
oysters.
corn to the beer.
I apologize to the cavalcade of feminists who are probably watching right now.
Yeah, one of them
We're all
probably.
offended.
She just left too.
All I have for you, Lee, is wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Period. Wrong.
Yeast in
Period.
your bottle, possible. Right. Wrong. Right.
Okay, so we got what Jordan. He has a Rochefort something.
Rochefort what? 8. Fucking right. That's my favorite of the bunch. In the middle.
Beauty.
And Bylog was drinking something very, very disappointing.
Water?
Yeah.
Loser.
Yeah, I've given up beer for the next 3 hours or so.
I realize whenever Greg drinks something, it's always disappointing, no matter what.
I'm giving up beer for the next 3 seconds.
Oh,
1,
literal
2,
water.
3. Yeah.
Just beers.
Your self-control is amazing, Nick.
Fuck yeah.
If you follow me on Untapped, you'll see all the shit I check in.
No one wants
It's
to
all
follow
shit,
you on
dude.
tap,
Like,
though.
literally shit.
Like no one wants to hear about how every beer you've reviewed is from fucking Michigan.
Hey guys, I'm drinking Granville Island Pale Ale. No one cares, Greg. Like, no. Ever.
Yes. It's better in the can.
Is it?
It's better aged three fucking a week in my fridge.
I don't know. It's only been in my fridge for 2 days, so.
Let's put it this way: urine is probably better in the fucking can.
Oh,
I imagine it might. It might have some nice
you're
aging.
in the kid.
I guess you would have to have an opinion about urine in the bottle. But yeah, that could be a possibility.
Asparagus esters.
Speaking of urine in the can, you review Rickard's Radler yet, there, Lee?
Yeah, it's on there somewhere.
God, that was fucking heartburn, man.
You look like you were having heartburn as you drank it.
Oh,
I kind of
God.
liked it. I kind of
I
liked
couldn't, I
it.
couldn't drink it.
Yeah, I'm in the kind of liked it camp. I kind of liked it because it wasn't super citrusy like a lot of these ones. Probably because Molson doesn't actually have real citrus in it.
Yeah, but it was actually fairly decent. Like, it was inoffensive. It was what, like 3.2% or some shit like that? Like,
I think it was 3.2. I think you still have
Yeah.
the can. Still. I just couldn't drink it. I took a couple sips of it, and it was like drinking burn.
oh, weird.
It was really bad for heartburn.
I didn't get that at all.
The-
But I just found it infinitely better than fucking Moosehead Radler.
Y'all tried the Amsterdam Radler?
Who?
No.
No.
That's a blood orange, right?
Yeah, the blood orange. It was okay.
Radler. It was okay.
I think that was one Chad sent me. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that review, didn't you?
Radlers, you got to really take them for what they are. I mean, people review them and whatnot. It's like it's fruit juice with
Yeah.
typically a light beer. I mean, they're not looking for some super flavorful, fucking utterly just uberly, as Matt would say, complex fucking taste. It's like it's gonna be fruit juice and a light lager, and they're gonna mix, and it's hopefully gonna be super drinkable, refreshing. One of those you could buy a 6-pack of and just crush by the poolside or beach or wherever you're going.
Yeah.
Hopefully not get heartburn like Nick, and just enjoy them. And it's funny though, because it's actually a lot tougher than it seems based on a lot of different Radlers we've all tried. Some of them are just gross. They really are. They're either fake tasting or they're just like too much like fruit juice and not enough like beer component.
I forget how Stiegel's Radler is.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean,
I've had that one.
that's the kind of thing you're shooting for. You're shooting for a balance of flavor. Like you don't want
Yeah.
you don't want a Radler that's too sweet. Like you want
Yeah.
something that has a nice citric kind of taste to it. Like when you think about a Radler, essentially what you're looking for is like alcoholic lemonade to some extent. So depending on what fruit you use, whether it's fucking grapefruit, lemon, orange, whatever, you want that citric quality. You don't want too much sweetness, and you want it to be refreshing and light and nice. And I think Rickards actually did a really good job of capturing that, personally. I think I still like Stiegel better than Rickards, but the Rickards is really good. So
Speaking of fruit-based beers, are there any Berliner Weisses available in your areas?
Yeah.
not here that I know of.
Not in my area, no.
I don't think it's available now, but Nickelbrook has one.
Yeah, they have one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I can still get that Nickelbrook one.
I'm visiting BC. Bad Tattoo Brewing has a bunch of different brews. One's a Berliner Weiss. I could send one out to y'all if you wanted.
Cool.
They showed up here, Bad Tattoo. I'm not sure which ones in particular, but
Probably their dark ale. That one.
there's two or three of them. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They were-
In all honesty, Berliner Weiss are really very akin to Gozes in terms of availability. You don't see too many Berliner Weisses around it's a style that not many breweries brew. So when you see one, I always jump on it. I mean,
They're like a lactic sour Hefeweizen, right?
Yeah.
I always put them as they are reasonably priced sour. If you think about it, like they're that's what it comes down to. It's a reasonably priced sour. It's not. You go buy a 12-ounce bottle or a 355 or 341.
The way the Germans do it, yeah.
The German, when they brew it, it's usually just brew pubs. They serve it there and add their syrups and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really distribute much.
Nope. When you were mentioning Berliner Weisses, you mentioned like I think you said fruit at first, but the only fruit forward or fruit Berliner Weiss ever had was Dogfish Head makes a peach one.
Ah.
And I forgot
Which is
the name.
the Pesce? No.
Yeah, it's Pesce something, isn't it? It's
I had that and it tasted like dirty socks. I remember that. I'm like, it was brutal.
It's Festina Pesce. It was good when I had it.
That was a few years ago. So, but I was remember like, oh wow, that was different.
I mean, it wasn't outstanding. It was fucking a Berliner Weiss with peaches.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how else to say it. I mean,
Yeah, the only Berliner Weiss I've ever had was the Uber Berliner from Nickelbrook.
that was pretty solid. I thought.
Is there like a wolf or something on the bottle?
I'm just looking at my old review on Untapped from it. I had it at the fest last year, and it was middle of the road, I think, for me.
Hey Nick.
What?
Hey Nick, could you possibly be wrong?
Cool.
Or
What?
were you one of the guys that didn't get what you call it? What was the
Wild
brewery
Child?
at the fest? Yeah, Wild Child. You didn't try Wild Child?
No, I didn't try Wild Child.
What a disappointment! Come on.
Shut up. I was too busy
Were
talking
they good?
about the IPA. Mr. Best IPA I've had at the fest.
It was pretty fucking fantastic.
It was, yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out.
It was one of those beers that kind of I don't want to say it blew me away, but it was awesome. I mean, it was surprising just because that brewery in general, like you're talking about Black Swan, who's been open for 6 months, and they come to the brewery and they win best brewery and best beer. It was totally surprising. So once I tried their IPA, they're the Wild Child. I had to try every other beer they had.
That IPA, if I could be like Julian on the Trailer Park Boys and have something alcohol related in a glass on hand at all times, it would be that beer.
Yeah, it was good.
I would drink that 24/7.
But the reason why their Wild Child, their Berliner Weiss, won the best beer is because it was one of those beers that anybody could drink. I mean,
Yeah.
I was holding the camera when Chad did his review of it on his channel, and I kept on, peering over to his wife, who is notoriously known for hating every beer in existence. Right? She gave it a 9. She's drinking it. Chad's giving it like an 8.5. Everyone else is fucking loving it, and I'm just like, that is if you're a brewery, that is a beer you want all the time because everybody could drink it and not think twice about it. But yeah.
I always like giving people Creeks and Cassis, like the Belgian Lambic fruit beers.
Like the Lindemans one?
No.
No.
Like
The Lindemans one?
Creek Boone and Morsabit, stuff like that. Very easy drinking.
Yeah, like Morsabit's Creek. I love that beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leafman's Creek is just unbelievable, man.
Jeez, that one's really good too.
What's
Cherry pie, man.
their Gudenbahn is fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
I've still got a bottle of the Gudenbahn.
Oh my god, that is just. I think we all reviewed it at Chad's last year, and oh my god, that was just.
I didn't do it at Chad's, but Chad gave me a bottle last year.
Nick, what are you doing? What are you doing, Nick? Not drinking Wild Child, not drinking the Gudenbahn. I don't understand.
I have a Gudenbahn at least.
Yeah, at least yeah.
I don't know if I've seen these guys around. Maybe I have.
What, Leafmans?
Apparently, Leafsman's Gudenbong was mentioned in Michael Jackson's Beer Hunter episodes. Remember that miniseries?
Yeah. He used it in a dinner pairing.
Yeah.
Pairing. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was watching like the Belgian one, the Burgundies of Belgium, and it was watching for all the beers I'd heard of, and it was like most of them. Leafman's Gudenbong.
Yeah, that's back when there wasn't really all that many Belgian breweries in the game, really. Like you didn't really know about any other than like Leafman's, fucking Chimay, stuff like that, right?
That was back when like we hadn't even heard of this stuff. Like over here, it was like the best stuff was like Molson Canadian, and people had just started hearing about Sam Adams, you know?
Yeah.
In Canada, that is. Like Rickards they have all those commercials with Ave Satani or something like that in the background. That you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if I saw any of those.
I can't remember. They're the commercials.
Remember those bitter beer face commercials?
Yeah, the bitter beer face.
Like Michael Ironside and Maximum Ice, you know.
Y'all tried any of Cantillon stuff?
Oh, I wish. I would love to try a Cantillon.
I've had some of their lesser offerings, as I think Brad has. Brad, you have a fufum? A fufum?
No.
No.
Good luck.
I tried their.
Means, right?
Which one?
Poofoon? Crazy pussy.
Yeah.
Crazy pussy, awesome.
Acquire this crazy pussy.
See, I don't.
I had their Bruxella, the just unblended lambic. Very nice. If you like flat beer.
I reviewed that with Brad sent that to me, and then I reviewed it with another beer tuber, Johnny of Crafty Beer Reviews on his channel, and the cork disintegrated into the bottle, which was a lot of fun. So I like to call it a cork aged lambic, but yeah, it was one of those. I mean, I've had two experiences so far with Cantillon, that and the Rose de Gambrinus, and those are two of the, I think, the lesser offerings. I mean, like their Creek is apparently awesome, as is their regular lambic, the Fufun, a couple different variants of their original lambic, but it's like, I don't know, the prices I have to pay in the States makes them not worth it.
I'm paying $35 a bottle for the Bruxella. So
yeah, you're paying like $50 to $75 here for the same thing.
Yeah,
their bottles are capped and corked.
Yeah.
So you had a capped bottle where the cork basically just dissolved into the beer.
Ew.
It wasn't like that when I sent it, Joe. So that might have happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't matter because it didn't really affect it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna hit a cork, baby, the ruin in the beer. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like Johnny went to open it, and it must have dried out a little bit. Maybe at the store they weren't sending. I know with corks you preferably want to age them on their sides so the cork doesn't dry out. But like Johnny goes in there and tries to get it out with his hand first. He's like, it's not budging, so he goes to get a contraption. He tries it. He's like, I think it's gonna fall in there, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's going to, and sure enough, it did. So like if you go look at his review, like he does the whole like pour at the beginning, and as he's pouring it, you can see like the cork just floating in the fucking thing. I'm like, oh boy.
Shit.
It's pretty fantastic. No
Should have poured it through a pantyhose.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, I've seen his Rickards Choir videos before, but I think they were a little ways into the Rickards.
Google search. I think they're from around the mid 2000s, like 2000.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Awesome.
Have y'all tried the Nogna India Pale Ale?
No.
Well, maybe.
I have a tendency not to buy imported IPAs because most of them don't bottle date, and I have no idea how old they are.
Yeah, that's what
I'm guessing the one I had was a year or two old, but it was probably one of the best damn IPAs I've ever had.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable.
No, I haven't had anything from Nongo either.
They've got a little 250 ml bottle of their red wine barrel aged quad. $21. Frick.
$21.
And that's the little bottle. They're
Yeah.
Imperial Stout cognac barrels.
Yeah, like one
I
of
don't think it was that much.
bottles.
Well, if it's a big bottle like that and it's aged in cognac barrels, it's probably probably expensive to make.
You're talking a $250 for $22. That's
I don't know if it was that much. It was probably.
What's that compared to that one we talked about in Beer Dweebs a couple months ago?
Pizza
There,
beer or something. That pizza guys that made that.
Oh, Pizza Boy Golden Sour. Now they were charging what, like $35? That's a $750. That's not even comparable. Like a
Yeah,
$250 for $22.
Waste the beer
no,
for
there was one that was a $250 or something like that. And they were charging an outrageous amount for it. It was like an Eisbach or something like that.
Oh, that's the Kunin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kunin? Kunin Icebox. I bought it as $12.7, $30. So similar, I guess, but maybe it's a little bit more expensive on the Nog side of things.
Even worse for Canadians because that's like $60 Canadian.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole exchange rate of stupidness.
Might have to draw the line at that one. Holy fuck.
This one was $16.50 for 250 ml. Amazing beer though.
What is it again?
Brewdog, McKellar, and Nognau's collaboration. They all mixed their imperial stouts together.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
I went to my bottle shop this past week and they had a Dree Fontainen, their Framboise.
Oh yeah.
$45. I was like, I would love to try this. It was a $750.
I could get you that for $17.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as far as prices go for any lambic/sour in the States, you can't get them, and if you can get them, you're paying exorbitant amounts to the point where you don't want to buy them. Like if a Cantillon 100% lambic comes in, it's a $750. It's $50 here, no questions asked. You're not going to get it cheaper. You're not going to find it, and every place gets 4 to 6 bottles of it. So it's like you either pay that $50 or you don't drink it. So most of the time I'm like, I'm not going to drink it because I'm not paying $50. Like I'll give you an example. Black Albert from Destruce, the Russian Imperial Stout. Their base beer is fine. It's like a 9-ounce bottle, and it's like $8. Okay, if I want to try it, that's fine. They got in all the variants, like their Mocha Bomb and the one with like I think blackberries or blueberries, all this stuff. It's a $750, $43. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can believe that. It's $50 over in or their Black Damnation.
Yeah, Black Damnation was one of them. Mocha Bomb and a couple others.
$50 or $60 for that one.
It's like look, man. Yeah, it's like look, I'd love to try it. And if there was like a half dozen other people willing to throw in, if we went 5 or 6 ways and we're able to, spend $6 to $7, I would do it to have 4 or 5 ounces because I can justify 4 or 5 ounces for $7 or $8 much more than I can 25 for 45. It's a whole other thing. But it's like they just sit on the shelves. No one's gonna buy
like that. I just want to taste. That's the thing. I want to drink a whole friggin' bottle and then.
Just bring your opener in the store and just.
Yeah. Excuse me, baby. Will you sell me 4 ounces of that? If there any way that happens, it's kind of like the Eclipse beers from 50/50, right? They come here anyway from 30 to $35, 22-ounce bottle, and it's not an imported beer. It's it's from California, and they age them in different barrels for 6 months. Blah blah blah. The only one I tried was one I split with Paul and Matt of Massive Beer Reviews. Paul and I split the bottle, but then Matt came over for the review, and it was like, I can justify $15 for 10 ounces, 12 ounces. I can't justify 35 for 22. As you keep on going up, it's the same ratio, but it's like I don't want that much of that beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was like Nogno's Dark Horizon was probably $30 for 8-ounce bottle or whatever.
Ooh,
Really?
It's insane.
I got it for my brother for his birthday. I'm like, I wouldn't buy that for myself, but
What edition was it?
4th maybe?
30 bucks for 8.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? I don't know. He still hasn't drank it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, but it
crazy.
came in a big triangle box. It's like, is that where the money's going into the packaging? Because
sometimes it
the
is.
box.
Sometimes
Just
it
give me
is.
the bottle.
You look at the Scotch whiskey industry. A lot of the money goes into packaging for some of those stuff. So I mean, why would it be any different for beer?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, look at Crystal Skull vodka. It's a from what I
Oh
understand,
yeah, obscene fucking prices for that stuff, man.
But it's Dan Aykroyd, baby.
I was gonna say, isn't that Dan Aykroyd's?
It's his stuff. Oh, we filter our stuff through diamonds. Fuck you,
Guess what?
dude.
Guess what? I bought it because I wanted a bottle. So.
A charcoal filter is not through diamonds. Like, come on, guys.
This is all I was willing to buy was this little
I've seen that little
fucker
guy.
here.
I bought a 750, but I bought it at duty free, so it was a little bit cheaper. But it was still really expensive for what's really it's a fine.
And it's not even that great of a vodka. It's not that great. It really isn't.
I don't really drink vodka. I don't know, but to me it tasted fine, but nothing like that was really worth the price.
The bottle's pretty sweet though.
I feel like all of our opinions are invalidated. We need Blueberry here. She would tell us if it's a good vodka or not, right?
Yeah, we need a true alcoholic Polak.
Yes. You can't. There's no other way to get a review of a vodka than a true alcoholic. I mean, come on. That's the way to go.
Or a Russian at the
if
very
it's a
least.
panty dropper.
Hey,
Maybe we get a meal in here.
Joe, how much are you paying for breweries' big beers out there?
It depends on the beer. Any like specific beer?
Smoking Wood or Bois?
Smoking Wood not available here, but like surrounding areas about $20. When Bois was available here, anywhere from 30 to 32.
Oh, here it's 48.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was $40 here.
So that's about $8 American or so.
$40, and the Smoking Wood was 26, depending where you went to get it.
Well,
There's
26 is
still
kind of
lots around.
that's good. 26 is kind of in line, and you got to figure what you guys are 80 cents a dollar, so it'd be about $22 American, somewhere around there. So maybe 21.
I always pay 30 for it, but that's because I'm in like a huge specialty shop always. So it's always like 10-15% more than it should be.
I will say this, one thing that I've noticed over specifically the last year and a half or so is that, a lot of these specialty bottles are just sitting. I mean, there are so many people that are willing to pay that, but not enough to really make these places sell out or get rid of all their stock. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned the Destruce, like the Mocha Bomb and the Damnation and all that stuff. That stuff just sits. It's funny that pizza. We had the whole discussion on Chad's about Pizza Point, about what they did. Wagmans and all that stuff, and how they're kind of undercutting everything. It's sitting on the shelves here. It's $38. There's no one buying it. Really, no one's touching it because why would you? A 5% sour made in the States, $38.
There's just as good stuff for a third of the price,
Yeah, exactly. And there's always new stuff being released. In the States, like, you can walk in your local bottle shop pretty much no matter where you are. There's a half dozen to a dozen new beers that are available, seasonals or maybe fresh IPAs or whatever you walk in. You're always like, man, I'm going to get that first before I drop $45 on this unknown beer that I would want to split with a half dozen people because it's ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Matt in here. Massive Beer Reviews. How you doing, sir?
Oh, hanging in there, man. How about yourself?
Good. What are you drinking?
Juice.
Juice. God damn it! What's with people
supposed to
joining
be
my
drinking
chats
beer?
and drinking juice and water? For fuck's sake!
Hang on,
You're supposed to be drinking beer to chat online and beer channels?
Juice Dweebs United, y'all.
He's trying to rehydrate himself from a weekend of abuse, baby. Leave him alone.
It was brutal, man. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah, I thought I was like, I could have been there. I was like, I probably better off now for it. I'd be fucking in a ditch somewhere, baby.
All I gotta say is Matt is lucky we're gonna steal some topics from his Love Beer radio show.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna commandeer those bitches.
Why? What's everybody drinking tonight? Besides juice and water.
I'm not.
Did you say Jews and water, baby? There's no Jews being drank outside anything.
You can't drink.
I just cracked open a Picaroon's melon head.
Oh, yeah? How was it this year?
Meh.
Meh.
Like watermelon bubble gum and really big cereal grains in the back. I'm gonna have trouble horking this down.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the Red Racer IPA still.
Still?
Yeah, still I had
Different
three
can.
I had 3 cans of it. Yeah. So.
Oh well. Okay, that's understandable. It can't be the same one, knowing you.
Yeah.
Wait till he falls off the bed, baby.
Well, you people force me to drink quickly, so.
What's this, you people?
You people, as in all you fucking
You
assholes. Yeah.
fuckers.
Oh, that messed up, baby. I drank Springhouse's Simcoe Must Be Destroyed that Paul sent to me.
What'd you think? I haven't actually had it yet.
It was like, you would have liked the bottle I had because it was, Paul drank his fresh and I looked at his untapped check-in. It was like from March 25th. So I don't know if he bought the bottles then, but whatever, it's a seasonal, so whatever they released probably was brewed around the same time. So it was about 3 or 4 months old, and it was very malt forward, honey, caramel, toasted white bread, sweeter overall. The kind of like the hops died down in the background. So
Yeah, I can still get them around here. I just don't know why I haven't picked it up.
it's very creamy, baby. Not the got to be to the mouthfeel. It is not a bit thin.
What else did you drink from the Paul Hall?
Oh, I've drank that coconut porter from that Crystal Ball where we all were debating if it was an actual brewery or not. It was a beer, and it was a porter, and it didn't have coconut in it, but it was cool. It was an extremely thin porter that kind of drank like a even weak brown ale. That wasn't bad. It was all right, but I was just like, where's the coconut at? There's no coconut here. You liar. You fucking liar.
Compared to Death by Coconut.
Yeah, I haven't had that one. And then the Blockhouse Double Chocolate Bock was like, someone took a Bock that was decent and then just dumped Hershey syrup into it. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, so it was like, oh, I'm smelling, so let me go get a bottle of Hershey syrup and compare. Oh, yeah, it smells exactly alike. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what I remember from having it. It was like real synthetic.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I could drink it. It wasn't bad, but like that bottle, I'm done. And it was just like, I wish the chocolate was like actual chocolate. Yeah, just like real chocolate would be nice. I'm not even talking cocoa nibs. Just like a little bit of the malt chocolate would be great, but not really. And then the Alpha Deuce from Ripstein's Pub. It was basically your quintessential West Coast style IPA, so I didn't really care for it because it was like a little bit of citrus peel and then all pine. And I was like, I want the juicy components. Like,
Oh, I would love that.
yeah, it would be. You would have absolutely adored it. You would have been all over it, Greg. It was perfect for. It was like white grapefruit, citrus peel, and fucking pine, and
Right.
nothing else.
Beat me with that pine. I love it.
Yep. But that's all I've had so far. I still have a couple IPAs in the fridge and a couple of those other things. I like. He sent me Bloodlust, which I'll get into at some point, and a couple of Imperial Stouts like Jolly Roger and a couple other local ones. Jolly Roger, which I think you guys all reviewed last year at his fest and all hated except for Ewart. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna hate it. So I don't know.
What's the Jolly Roger?
The Jolly Roger Imperial Stout from Otto's. You guys, I remember the video. You reviewed it all on, I think it was Chad's channel, and everyone was like, yeah, 6.5, 7, 6.5, and then Ewart's like, 8.5. I'm like, what? It's like, I love it too, 9. I'm like, Jesus, this is gonna be terrible beer. But then he sent a bottle out to Clement's Homebrew, and he actually, the same batch apparently that you guys drank, he sent a bottle out, and he loved it. So he's like, Kevin loves it. You're gonna love it. I'm like, I've watched like 4 Kevin videos. And Kevin's a good dude. I've watched some of his shit, but I'm like, I don't have any idea if his palate is anywhere close to in line with mine. So I don't know why you would say I love it when like everybody on Chad's channel who reviewed it was doing like a 6.5. I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, we'll see.
Oh God, this thing's fucking gassy.
Yeah, you got drain port? You got drain port?
I'll keep drinking it. It's just it's not great.
So just so you know, Matt, there's no real fixed topics here tonight. We're just kind of fucking substituting for beard weaves at this point.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah, I mean, if Chad was here, we'd have actual topics. So if you have anything you want to bring up, feel free to bring it up.
Let me think if there's anything good. What the fuck did I just see? And I can't remember. That's real interesting what I just said. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the show started with Nick holding up a bottle and me jacking off to it, so it's a pretty low bar.
Yeah. You gotta. You don't have much to go. You know, like you don't have a big ways to go to up the quality of this whole cast.
Oh, wait. This is it. Did you guys see the fucking Evil Twin thing?
No.
Oh.
No. Okay. Let me find this real quick. This is pretty fucking crazy shit. Basically what happened was there is a brewery out in California called I'm looking it up as fast as I can. Where the fuck is it? Basically a brewer at a brewery, like, you know, just basically lit fucking Evil Twin up, saying their pricing is fucking bullshit and he shouldn't be such an asshole. That's basically in that's what was in the fucking thing. Where is it? Hold on.
Nice, Joe.
Are you happy, Brad? Are you happy, Brad? Look what I'm dipping into, baby.
Oh, I heard that was pretty fucking good.
I haven't had it. I bought a 6-pack of it, so we'll see if it tastes like root beer. I imagine it does.
Okay, here we go. It's a dude from a Colorado brewery called Caution Brewing Company. I've never heard of them, but basically he just wrote this letter to Evil Twin and goes, "Dearest Evil Twin, first and foremost, let me say that you folks make some excellent beers, and I have the utmost respect for your brewers. I've had some average ones here and there, but the vast majority of your portfolio is top-notch. What I do not particularly care for is the disgusting, offensive, pompous, entirely bullshit price point at which you set your beers. Yes, bombers are one thing. You can sell 6% beer as $10 a bomber, and you won't hear much fuss, even though you should. You might even be able to sell it at $12 if it is a really, really well-made beer. But you guys, I bet your team of sales assholes could try to sell it for $20. Am I right? On the other hand, the pricing of your 4-packs and 6-packs is insulting, exorbitant at best. I could reference most of your catalog in making this point, but instead I'll focus on 2 key examples. First, 3 or 4 years ago, your hipster ale was being sold for $3 a can plus tax in southern states. It was seemingly not being sold in larger packs at the time, considering that it was an average American pale ale on a good day and its alcohol content is the norm for the style. It's absolutely absurd. Since then, both price point and the packaging, now in 6-packs, has changed. It's clear that you have learned your lesson on that one, but yet you continue such indecency with most other beers. The latest example is your Nomender Weiss Berliner Weiss. I should note that I work for a Colorado brewery, and intricately understand the cost and labor of making certain styles. Sour tart beers can cost more, take longer to make, and I'm always happy to pay a little extra for people's good labor. Unfortunately, this is far from the case here. Just yesterday, I saw your Berliner Weiss being sold for $18.99 a 6-pack plus tax. I realize that much of that might be markup from a liquor store, but even on the East Coast, I'm hearing prices of $13 to $15. I'll settle on $15 as an average. Sadly, $15 per 6-pack implies that you very well might not be good, quote-unquote, good people, as such a price for a 4% beer is highway fucking robbery. There's no way in hell this beer costs that much to make, and the industry provides a number of examples as evidence. Anderson Valley, California sells a couple of great 4.2 Gozas, both for $9 to $10 a 6-pack, while Westbrook sells their excellent Goza at the same price and size. I imagine you guys argue that as gypsy brewers, you pay more for use of facilities and all that and as a result, you have to pass on the cost to the customer. Let me remind you that you have chosen this path. Nobody forced you to brew without a permanent location. Financially, you folks are barely getting by, or you're raking in the cash, and I guess the reality is closer to the latter. And in that case, might I suggest buying some equipment and backing off those who want to be your loyal customers. There's no excuse for gouging your customers just because you don't want to stay put or shell out for your own system. And then he goes on to quote a bunch of stuff about Dogfish Head and how they make a bunch of beers that are expensive, but Dogfish uses weird, unique ingredients. Then he goes and kind of compares them to Sculpin, Ballast Point Sculpin, where they're charging $15 for 6 packs of a fucking IPA that used to be cheaper. And then at the end, he just closes more eloquently. I always loved much of your portfolio, but I'm becoming fed up with being treated like a source of income as opposed to a member of the group. You folks need to survive. You're already one of the biggest jokes in the industry, and your childish sibling bickering, so why not stop there and treat everyone else in the world with some fucking respect? So there you go. That was pretty nice.
Wow.
It's weird to see someone in the industry really kind of fucking go balls in a wall and shit.
Yeah,
like that,
that's like... That's just like that's almost out of left field kind of attack, right?
Oh, it's absolutely. He's right though.
I agree with all of it. That's great.
So basically, he's accusing these guys of being basically a gypsy brewer who are, you know, they're brewing with other people or whatever. They're, you know, using other people's facilities, so they're cutting their costs like super big, and they're charging exorbitant amounts for their beer at the same time and making lots of money. So that's essentially the base accusation there, right?
No, the first part wasn't him cutting costs as being a gypsy brewer. He said, either you aren't making a lot of money because you're a gypsy brewer or you're making a ton. I don't know. He's like, you don't own your own facility, and that might raise your overhead. It might, and if it does, then you've chosen that path. But at the same time, McKellar's beers are always way more expensive than everybody else's.
I was going to say,
yeah.
See, I actually am the opposite. Well, here, I mean, it all depends on where you are too, in a lot of respects. Here, Evil Twin
stuff is fairly cheap over here.
McKellar's shit is so expensive here. It makes Evil Twin look like fucking Magonitas next to it. That's how it is here. Like, it's so dumb. Like, Evil Twins, like, he's complaining about the Berliner Weiss being like $13. Festina Pesce from Dogfish Head, if I went to go buy 6 bottles of that, it's the same price. And it's a Berliner Weiss. A 4-pack is $10. That means a fucking 6-pack of it would be $15. I mean, as far as Evil Twin stuff goes here, I can't speak anywhere else, but like McKellar's shit comes here. McKellar's shit is through the roof. It is. That's why I don't buy much McKellar stuff. It's fucking crazy expensive.
Their bombers, the Evil Twin bombers, aren't super bad. But the single bottle, I only ever find Evil Twin in single bottles, and they're always anywhere between $7 to $10 for a single bottle.
Really? Wow. See, like, I'll give him the hipster ale. Like, that was that was like $3.50 here. Everywhere the hipster ale was overpriced. But like I bought I bought a fucking 16-ounce pounder of their Citra Sunshine Slacker 2 weeks ago. It was like $2.50, $2.65.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's awesome.
That was great. Like a same McKellar beer would be like $4. Like, that's why I stick away from McKellar. So I think it's all basically where you live and kind of maybe the distribution and stuff.
With McKellar, I find lots of their stuff, like most of their stuff, super mediocre. But they do have some outstanding beers, like world-class beers.
But that's exactly how Evil Twin is. If you ask people, like a lot of Evil Twin's base smaller beers, they're solid in a lot of respects, mostly overpriced, like the guy was speaking about Evil Twin. But like Imperial Donut Break, for example, I don't know what everyone else pays for it. I paid, I think, $13.99, $14.99. I'd pay that all day for Imperial Donut Break, Imperial Biscotti Break, Natalia. I'd pay $15 all day for those beers because I think they're awesome. And they're not overpriced when you compare them to other bombers of 12% Imperial Stout / Porters. Like, it's very similar. Yeah. But McKellar will come in with these fucking 375 bottles, or these weird. They come in with these weird bottles, like, it's 14.237 fucking ounce, and I'm like, where do you even get these bottles? You making them yourself? And all of a sudden they're $20, and it's like it's a live series. If you guys seen it's a live series, right? From them. Yeah, those bottles here, they come in
price
13-ounce bottles, and they're like fucking $17. And I know they're fucking spontaneous fermentation and fucking this and that, but it's
nowhere near that, Joe. I think I got that for like $6 or $7.
Yeah, Canada's a fuck place. That's all I can.
Because they had the 750s as well, and then I'm like, I think that was 17 or 20, and I'm like, nah.
Okay, how many people here on the panel have had Evil Twin? Like, I've never had anything from them, so I really can't comment on.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, do you think that this criticism is valid towards them? Like, whether you're in Canada or in America or whatever, do you think the what you're paying for the beer is a good price for what they're charging?
It depends on the bottle, definitely, but at the same time, it's also, and this is just me nitpicking, but a majority of Mikkeller beers, not to defend their price point, because again they're expensive too, but it's typically going to come from halfway across the world, where it's almost all, Evil Twin's out of Brooklyn. I could drive there in 2 hours. You know what I mean? So I personally have the same issue with Omegang. It's kind of like the thing where, like, okay, Omegang wants me to spend the same amount on a 4-pack of their 3 philosophers as Chimay, yet I could drive 2 hours and go to Omegang and pick it up. Like, really, like, you're going to have this Belgian ale that has to travel across the whole ocean and go through all that processing, and then I pay the same price. It's kind of like that when it comes to the brothers. But it's a good beer. I think they both should be less, because, think about, like, even if Mikkeller or Evil Twin bottle is $6 a bottle, you're talking about a $24 4-pack of 12-ounce bottles. I mean, that's like, that's usually reserved for elite status shit, and a lot of the stuff that's at that price point isn't elite status.
I would say the one thing they get away with, and this is at least Evil Twin, is they're gypsy brewers, right? And that means they brew all over the world at different breweries and whatnot. Lately, over the last 6 months to a year, Evil Twin has been brewing at Westbrook in South Carolina. They've been brewing at two roads in Connecticut. So no longer are they really technically importing those beers anymore. They're not coming from across the sea, across the Atlantic. They're not coming from these countries where you would expect to tack on costs for shipping and actually moving the product. It's like these beers are now being brewed in the U.S. and being distributed to the U.S., yet the price isn't going down. Yeah, that's where I would have an issue with Evil Twin, because it's like, hey man, I picked up this beer and it says right here it's brewed at Connecticut. You have a distributor in Brooklyn. I'm in New York. It's coming to me. Why is it the same price as what I paid 6 months ago, where you're brewing in someplace in Denmark? That makes no sense.
Yeah, he doesn't. He still travels, but he owns a bar in fucking Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like that's where he lives. He predominantly, like you said, he's pretty much in the northeast corridor, just banging out shit at friends' breweries. You know what I mean? It's not like he's on the road and here and there. He's just chilling in Brooklyn now. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but I would say if you want to attack Evil Twin or Mikkeller or whatever, there's like attack Rogue. I mean, the Rogue would be like the biggest. Yeah. Like if you want to fucking get upset at someone, Rogue is huge. They distribute everywhere. They have a big footprint, and they charge exorbitant prices for things that are worth half the amount.
And the thing is, you could argue with the Evil Twin and Mikkeller, but at least they make good beer. You know what I mean? Whereas
Rogue makes like a good beer, maybe 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah, and their price point's even more.
Their Sriracha Stout over here is $17.
In the States, it's $13-14, man. It's the sad thing is they have the reputation. So, like, if someone who is like us and we're craft beer drinkers and we kind of know what's happening, you walk into a place and you look and you go, oh, Rogue Sriracha Stout, that sounds interesting. Oh, it's $14? You can fuck off again, Rogue. Oh, Lagunitas, $4.99 Imperial Stout, I'm on it.
Like, not even that, the nuts on them to charge, because I paid $16 and it was fucking disgusting. And it was $16 for $7.50 of a fucking 5% beer.
Yeah, exactly. It pisses me off. It's
they're the Olive Garden of fucking beers.
Fucking Olive Garden. Everything's frozen, baby. They just warm it up.
So just to cap this off, like, so do you guys feel like this Colorado brewery guy has any sort of valid criticism of Evil Twin or whatever, or is he just like really attacking them for no reason?
Well, no, I'm guessing drunk email at 3 in the morning. That's my guess. But at the same time, I think there's a little bit of validity in there. But I think it was a little bit too venomous for I think it should have stayed in-house.
The thing is, people are going to keep spending this money on their beers, so why would they lower the price?
Well, that's a good point, John. That's what I was actually going to mention.
It's a business.
Stop buying their beer, and eventually, they'll say, "Hey, it's not selling." But at the same time, I think that email can apply to probably 10% of the breweries at the very least that are distributing to the states. Like you could, I don't know why he went after Evil Twin, because they are a gypsy brewery, but there are so many other breweries that Crooked Stave, for example. Crooked Stave makes what people who like sours and stuff. Cool. They love Crooked Stave, but like I find it hard that they charge $9 or $10 for a 375 because it's all Brett. I understand Brett's probably more expensive, but is it $10 a fucking 12.7 ounce bottle expensive? I doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Cascade Brewing, the sour brewery. That's an expensive brew.
When you put things together, you have to I always understand, like, okay, if you put a beer in a barrel, it takes time. It takes time. It's going to cost money. You get in the barrels. You're spending the time testing it constantly, making sure it's not infected, making sure everything's right.
Yeah.
Same thing with sours. You're putting beer sometimes in a barrel for a sour for a year or two. It's labor intensive. It's time intensive. I understand that. But sometimes when guys are just like, hey, man, we're going to brew this with 100% Brett. Like, that is going to be our yeast strain. We're going to see what happens. Where it doesn't actually take as much time as you would think. And they're just like, well, because this is 100% Brett brewed pale ale or IPA or sour, we can now charge $10 or $12 for a bottle of it. And you're just sitting there going, why? Why are you allowed to do that? Like, because you can? And, of course, people are dumb enough to spend that, and therefore that's where the price point stands. It comes down to the consumers. If they sell, then people like us are going to be in the minority, and a guy like who wrote the email, he's also going to be a minority. If it sells, they're going to continue selling at that price. They might even up it a buck or two to say, hey, man, get away with it. Is it bad business practice? Maybe in some way. But if you can sell your product and people are willing to pay it, then I don't see what's wrong with it. It just, in my opinion, doesn't mean we can't say our opinion about it.
Lots of people have this mindset: if a beer's more expensive, it's better. So that's why it sells so much.
No. lot of times, people fall into that trap a lot.
Yeah.
Just like people think craft beer is better than macro. It's not always the case. Craft beer doesn't equal quality all the time.
Minhas Brewery, man.
Yeah. They won an award, Jordan. They won an award. They're the greatest brewery of all time.
Oh, frick, I hate those people.
Yeah. They're chocolate bunny or whatever it was.
All right. I think we could probably move on to some stuff we were talking about earlier there, Joe. Just preface this with Matt from Massive Beer Reviews has been doing a sort of a live podcast himself in the last couple of weeks. Love Beer Radio. With his friend Joe, isn't it? Who it is, Joe?
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe.
So we were kind of thinking of like stealing a couple topics from your last couple episodes and just sort of going through them here on the thing. So actually, I'll rely on Joe to throw those out. Although I have watched every episode, but I'm just unprepared and drunk. So
basically, Matt should be flattered at this point. All right, that's how I'm going about it.
Let's put it right now. Like, no one's probably gonna watch this fucking show anyway because I fucked up and didn't make it live, so no one's gonna see it. So anyway, on the rare instance that someone sees this, let's get into this. So Joe, just start throwing shit out there.
I'm in control. No, so as Lee said, Matt has his Love Beer Radio, and I think he's 4 episodes in, and in each episode, Joe, nepabeerreviews.squarespace.com, he throws out the topics usually each week, and each week it's usually centered around a specific topic, whether it's like favorite styles and least favorite styles, overrated breweries, underrated breweries, how you rate beer. I think were the 3 main episodes that I remember. And I figured since it's only Matt and Joe doing it, and they actually had Ryan Lubrew on last week to voice his opinion. I was always curious. Matt's kind of doing on his show what I was hoping we would do a lot more on BDU, which was for a while we did the whole ratings thing, which was cool, rating certain styles and whatnot, but getting to know each beer tuber's preferences, whatever it comes to ratings or styles or breweries or whatever, always cool. We never did it, so I figured since Matt already did the shows, and it's not like you're gonna, harken back to it or go back to it at some point, might as well do it now, because what the fuck, we don't have anything else to do. So I feel the first thing I think you did was overrated and underrated breweries. I believe was the first topic you did on the second episode. Pretty sure.
Well, the first, yeah.
I think it was the second episode, because the first episode was kind of...
It was just introduction bullshit, yeah.
Yeah. Which, you could do here, but everyone watching pretty much knows. But yeah, so I don't know if we want to skip that or do that. I don't know how tough it'd be for people to think on the spot within 5-10 minutes about what their overrated breweries are, underrated breweries. It wasn't best and least favorite. It was what you feel are overrated, whether you hear people saying, hey, this beer's great, you had a couple of them, you're like, or underrated where people tear them apart or say, hey, they're average, and you're like, wait, I've had half dozen from them, they're great. So if we want to do that topic, I'm for that, but that might be a little bit more of a difficult topic than the other two questions.
Well, for overrated, underrated, let's just limit it to one or two. I mean, you don't have to think for a top 5 list or any of that bullshit. Just anything that really comes to your head, even if it's just one brewery for each thing. We'll just go through the panel and see what we think, right?
Yeah, so you could certainly do that.
Okay, so I'll just I'll lead through it because I essentially have the actual lineup of people on my thing as opposed to everyone else. So we'll start with Joe. What is your let's just say what's your most overrated and what's your most underrated brewery?
Oh my God, I have no idea. This is great.
It's Saranac.
Saranac is the best brewery not known to man. Fuck. Let's start with underrated. I don't know how rated they technically are, but I've always tugged on their penis a little bit.
It's Jack's Abbey. It's got
Jack's Abbey.
It's got
Yeah, the fact that Jack's Abbey makes all lagers, and I think I've drank 20 to 25 of their beers, and I've actually, I wouldn't even say dislike, I didn't care for 3 of them out of that. For me, makes them underrated, because that means I can typically walk into a fucking bottle shop and pick up almost any of their offerings and not be disappointed. And the fact is, their price point is fantastic. I think Matt and Paul can vouch for that, like picking up Framingham, for example. You get a $10 fucking 4-pack of a Baltic Porter that's 10%. How can...
Matt doesn't know. We were talking about the bottle shop near me, though. They have 6-packs of Jack's Abbey stuff for $16.99.
Yeah, your place, in a word, is fucked. Let's just be honest. Like, your area
is so stupid in prices that I'm never going there again now.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, every time you tell me something in your area, it's just like, nope. As far as I'll give you a Canadian brewery that I think is somewhat underrated. I would go Bellwoods, but at this point, Bellwoods is almost overhyped in a way, because
it's
really brewery. What the fuck are you talking about?
If I had to I think Nickelbrook, honestly. I know a lot of people in Canada like Nickelbrook. Like, they're like, oh, they're good. They're hop-forward beers for the price you pay and the availability, like Headstock and what's the other one? Modest and what the fuck is the Naughty Neighbor? Naughty Neighbor, and then you just go to like Whiny Bastard for the bigger.
Bolshevik, just standard is awesome.
Kentucky, the price point, the availability, and the awesomeness of those beers, kind of hard to beat. Like, you can walk into a fucking LCBO in the Niagara Falls region and pick up a 5-day-old Headstock for $2.85 a can for a pounder. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's crazy. Like, that is crazy talk. Like, in the States, that's crazy talk, and we're cheap as shit. compared to Canada. For I wouldn't say Canada. I think Matt said something good though. It's like a lot of Canadians complain about prices. I still think that's based on macro stuff. Micro stuff we're very comparable still. But Nickelbrook, I would go underrated. Nickelbrook has they're awesome. They are, and not many like if you mention Nickelbrook in the States, people are like, "What's that?"
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
Yeah, who?
Are they flying monkeys? What?
Flying monkeys? What kind of stupid names are there in Canada? Overrated. I'm honestly just going to go to what we talked about earlier, McKellar for me. McKellar, I've had maybe a couple of their beers that were really good, like the black that was super smooth and Paul thought was extremely harsh, which he's probably right. But like aside from a couple of their beers, they're overpriced, they're overhyped. When they come in, people go nuts about like their Beer Geek breakfast and Beer Geek brunch and all that stuff. Are they good beers? Yes. Are they $10 for a 12-ounce bottle good? Nah.
Yeah, but they changed all those, it seems, and they put them in different sized bottles now, but for a higher price, and they're not as good from what I remember either.
No, I would honestly take Evil Twin over McKellar. If push comes to shove, I think Evil Twin's a little better priced in my area, and again, apparently based on that guy's email, not so much probably, but for me, they are, and I think they had a lot of their bigger beers are like any of the Imperial Biscotti Break or their variants are fantastic, and you can get them for $15 or $16 less for a bomber. It's well worth it. But yeah, McKellar is very, very overrated in my opinion, and I can't really think of any other really overrated breweries off the top of my head.
Let's go.
I can't.
Move on.
Yeah, can.
All right, Greg. Most overrated and most underrated brewery for you, sir.
Every brewery that's not from Ontario.
Correct.
Even there, Greg. What's going on?
Good talk, Greg.
Okay.
He's gone.
Moving on. Brad, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Most overrated and most underrated brewery for you.
I think underrated. Still think Phillips is pretty underrated for me.
Cheers to that.
Overrated. Well, I'll say Evil Twin, but not really overrated because their beers are really good, but fucking really overpriced. I Love You With My Stout was like almost $8 for a 12-ounce bottle. That's the same price as Prairie Artisan's Bomb, so it's like, no, not happening. And McKellar is too, yeah. They're fucking overpriced on everything. A basic wit beer is $6, $5 a bottle.
Fuck off, that's crazy.
Wow.
And they're not necessarily as good either. Like Evil Twin's usually really good, but pricey as fuck.
Okay. We'll go back to Greg.
Yeah, sure.
Greg. Most overrated and most underrated brewery for you, sir.
Okay, well, underrated, I'd probably say Black Oak, and I know you're all going to laugh at that, but the thing is, they come out with some pretty decent beers. I think everyone that's tried Epiphany #1 would at least say it's a pretty good beer. And the fact is, if Bellwoods came out with that, it would have been sold out within a weekend, and it sat on shelves for about 3 or 4 months. And a lot of their stuff is like that. It's probably a little pricier than it should be, but it sits in the brewery for months, and if another brewery came out with it, it would sell out, very quickly. And in terms of overrated, and Joe and you are going to hate me for this one, but I think Kunan. I haven't tried a lot of their really, really supposedly amazing beers, so I can't comment on those. But frankly, their regular lineup I think is mediocre to good. I haven't really tried anything from them that I was really blown away by.
You're dead to me.
All right. Greg's did to Joe. We'll move on. Matt, most overrated and most underrated brewery for you, sir.
Overrated. I'll go Rogue. You know what I mean? Just because it's just they make 1,363,000 beers and 2 are good. And I'll keep it local for underrated. Weyerbacher. Weyerbacher's whole line is just fucking delicious, and then they get a decent amount of distribution. Just no one ever fucking talks about them.
Right on. Hey, Nick. Overrated and underrated, sir.
You know what? I hate to say this, but I'm going to say Picaroons is really overrated these days. I'm not really impressed with their products recently. Now, of course, they're going by what I can think of right on the spot right now, and recent experience. But this pickaroons isn't like, especially when I'm drinking this Melonhead, I'm thinking, man, what the hell is this? It tastes like crap for fruit beer. As for underrated stuff, I'm also going to go local. I'm going to say that Petit Saw needs some attention. They don't. I mean, they're a fairly new brewery. They're less than a year old here in New Brunswick, and they've been making some really solid Belgian styles, and they're really cheap here. And I had the chance to sample their IPA over the weekend, and my God, that was almost fantastic.
All right, cool. Paul, most overrated and most underrated brewery for you, sir?
I'm trying to think. There's so many breweries out there anymore. Probably just going by the one I've had the most of and haven't been really impressed by almost any of them, except for maybe one, is probably Bell's for overrated. I haven't had their Black Note, I don't think, yet. I haven't had that. But so far, especially like Oberon and stuff, that is just a drain pour to me. I don't like it at all, and people seem to go absolutely apeshit over it. So personal taste makes it overrated, I think, for me. And then underrated, I'll go, like with Matt, go local. He went Firebacher, I'll go Springhouse. I like their stuff a lot for what it is. So, there you go.
Too much, if you ask me.
Cool. Right
I
on.
masturbate with the bottle. Now, if Springhouse, another brewery that's completely underrated, even though a lot of people do know about them, is Lagunitas. I think they make really
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I think, I mean, like Matt mentioned Rogue, it's like, you could call them overrated for sure, just because they are rated, people know about them. But people also know about Lagunitas, so I don't know if you can really call them underrated as much as just their price point is fantastic, so that's why.
Well, I'm still geeking out on the Equinox, drinking bottles of it, and then just after I drink it, I go, I can't believe this is $5 a bomber. This is so great, and I just go out and buy more of it. You know, things like that.
I mean, they bring in their barrel-aged coffee stout, and it's fucking like $8 a bomber, and you're like, oh, why?
Hey, it's like I'm shopping at Surplus Outlet for beer.
It's like if I went to go get a Bourbon County stout, I can get half the amount for the same price. Fantastic. Great times.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, we'll move on to Jordan now. What's your most overrated and most underrated brewery for you, sir?
I'm going to start with underrated. Judo Ale. All their stuff's just dead on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Underrated. Sawdust City makes amazing stuff from what I've had. People need to drink more of their shit, that's for sure. And these guys here. Jester King. Amazing stuff. Overrated, honestly, most of the Trappist breweries.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
La Trappe, Akel, stuff like that.
Oh, La Trappe, I'll agree with. Yes.
La Trappe is my favorite Trappist brewery.
I'm gonna go in J mode. Oh, that means we need to fight, baby. I'm gonna unfriend you on Facebook, Matt.
I was gonna I'd go with, but I haven't had a lot. But like some of the, the 12s and the 10 Rocheforts and this. I wasn't as impressed as I thought I would be with the hype that's behind the beers. I thought I would just be automatically blown through the doors, maybe even do a shower and get clean. But no.
West Terran 12, in my opinion, was just a standard quad.
This is my theory on the Belgian, or specifically Trappist stuff that people aren't into that much. Most people, specifically in the United States, when they start drinking beer, they drink craft beer that is local or made somewhere in the United States. So what they're doing is they're being born and bred on, or in North America, not even the United States, they're born and bred on a hop-forward beer. So hop is what the flavor is all about. Belgian beers are yeast-driven beers. Their flavor is derived from the yeast, so it's more like it's not something that people are used to. Nor, and this is not. I'm not. This is gonna sound like me being a super asshole. Just don't understand it. So
No, I started out with Belgian yeasty beers, and that's what got me into craft beer, man. But like I've had many offerings from Belgium that are just way better than most of the Trappist stuff.
I've had great stuff from non-Trappist breweries too, but some of the best beers I had a 10-year-old Akel Brun the other day that was fucking off the hook. I had you know what I mean? One of the best beers I ever had, La Trappe barrel aged batch 16 was like fucking, my man parts were tingling. Fucking like, you know, there's good and bad everywhere, but again, it's a subjective thing, and it's all a matter of taste.
I think Saint Bernardus 12 is probably one of the best beers on earth, but that's just me.
All right, I'll go for my ones now. Most overrated? Fuck. Kind of hard to think of it.
Propeller.
No, it's not even Propeller.
Motherfucking Moosehead, baby, Moosehead.
Hey, it's underrated, bitches.
I'd say something like Stone at this point, maybe a bit too overrated, where they're kowtowing to so many celebrity endorsements and stuff like that. Where
You just hate Will Wheaton, let's be honest.
Will Wheaton, fuck Will Wheaton. Where they're making they're making these celebrity beers that they're okay.
I understand that they're making too many like weird novelty beers and not focusing on.
Yeah, like I've liked everything I've had from Stone, but just the hype I get from Stone, like just being this poor fucking idiot from fucking Nova Scotia who hears about Stone. Oh, Stone's so great. And I've had some of their beers, and it's like, okay, yeah, their beers are really good, but they're not blowing my fucking mind. Like, I'd take fucking Bring Out Your Dead over anything Stone has released. I mean, I honestly would.
He doesn't want any of the Fedora's Classic. That's all.
As far as an underrated brewery, this is probably one that's going to give me some hatred. I'd say Sam Adams. I think a lot of people overlook them at this point.
I have to agree with you, man.
Yeah, probably.
Very, very good stuff from.
They don't make great world-beating beers anymore for the most part. Like some of their Imperial series is pretty fucking world-class shit, but for the most part, a lot of their
they don't make anything really great, but they do most things really well.
And here's the thing about them. They have basically diluted their own fucking lineup far too much. Like
let's face it, Sam Adams is macro.
Yeah, well, they have a seasonal for every goddamn day of the year, right?
Yeah.
So that really sucks. And a lot of their seasonals are garbage, but they still make great fucking beers, and I think a lot of people shit on them for really bad reasons.
Yeah, I'd buy a 6-pack of their Oktoberfest any year. Really.
Unfortunately, so would Matt Pollenhoff.
Underrated brewery, Sierra Nevada.
See, Sierra Nevada would go on my overrateds.
Oh, I love them.
I think Sierra Nevada is rated just as it should be rated. I mean, they're good, but
I know Stone Cold Steve Austin would have a different opinion of that.
Anchor
I
is a good.
I love their Torpedo. I like their Narwhal. I wanted to throw the porter and the stout back at the head brewer right in his face. I want to meet him one day and be like, "This is shit. This is shit." You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But
I like their porter.
I hate their pale ale. Their standard pale, I never liked it.
Their Pilsner, I love.
I liked a lot of the stuff in the Beer Camp series. I can't wait to try the barrel aged Narwhal. I like fresh Bigfoot. I don't like aged Bigfoot for some reason, but I like fresh Bigfoot.
Yeah, outside of Narwhal, nothing really. It wasn't bad, but nothing really. It was all.
I think the best thing about Narwhal was I was expecting to hate it as much as I hated the porter and stout, and I didn't, and that made me go. Wah!
You know that Paul's the expert on Bigfoot, so.
Yeah.
I'm very indifferent towards Sierra Nevada. Like I don't know. I don't lean either way towards them. They just kind of exist, and I'll try some of their shit. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it impresses me, some of it, yeah, it's not that great. I don't know. I don't think at this point though they have much. I mean, they're a classic brewery, founding fathers of the.
Well, when at this point in time, could you get like Yinling, Sam Adams, Sierra Nevada, Anchor, and just pick a couple different ones, and they're just there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's.
Yeah, they're on the Mount Rushmore, you know. Yeah, they're closer to Sam Adams than they are to other places.
Like I don't think anyone goes into Sierra Nevada beers unless they're big beers going, you better not let me down, Torpedo. Like it's like it's then there. Most people have had it. Or same thing with the Pale Ale or their Porter, their Stout. You can be disappointed by it, but they don't have enough hype where it's like, man, you know what I heard like 75 people tell me how great the Sierra Nevada Stout was. It's like no one talks about the Sierra Nevada Stout. Some people don't even know it exists. It's like it's there, you can drink it, but a lot of people don't anymore.
The Sierra Nevada Pilsner, I was just blown away by it.
Is that the Nooner? The Nooner?
There.
No.
Is it the Nooner Pilsner?
Yeah, Nooner.
I'm gonna shoot up your pool party.
All right, I think I'm gonna head out, guys.
Go play with your camera.
All right, Nick.
See you
Thanks
next.
for joining in, sir.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
See you later.
I didn't watch your Czar review yet, Matt. Did you get a lot of molasses, that earthy copper coin molasses out of yours? Is that super old or something, or?
I shot that review like fucking 6 months ago. I don't even remember what I fucking said.
I watched it, and there was no molasses copper coin, and it was relatively fresh.
Oh, there was tons of fucking dry copper coin molasses going on in the case. I bought a whole case of it.
Maybe you were tasting your own blood.
But my wife, that's what she was saying too. She's like, "Oh my God, this fucking Jesus Christ!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I get that." Because my wife's epically better at tasting beer than I am. She just won't get in front of a camera without getting angry.
That's not true. We saw the porn movie.
Well, yeah, that.
You made her wear a China mask.
She thought I was another man, so that's why she got in front of camera.
I don't know about this thing. I have no idea.
Not your father's root beer.
I have no opinion on it. Like,
First review for fucking the Beer Patrol's channel, not your father's review.
No, this would not be the first review for my channel. This is terrible, but awesome, but terribly awesome. Like I don't know, like I guess it's a beer. I guess.
Is it overrated?
It tastes like root beer. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, it tastes really good, but I don't want to drink it if I want a beer.
No, like I'm glad I have this bottle, and I'm gonna drink it, and I'll enjoy it. But if I want a root beer, I'll drink a root beer.
I take or leave Sprecker's root beer all day long. I had it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then halfway back down the bottom, I went, I don't like this anymore.
I guess I'm impressed that this is technically a beer, and it tastes like a root beer. That's cool. I mean, and that's cool. But it's like, if you want to drink root beer, just drink a root beer, put a vodka in it, or put rum in it, or put something in it that just makes it fucking alcoholic.
I used to make liquid sidewalks. He said it was root beer and scotch mixed together.
Yeah, I mean that's
it all fucked up.
There's a 19% version of that floating out there.
There's a 10.79 and a 19.5, and I'd like to try those just to see.
Yeah.
Like, if you're drinking a 19.5 and it tastes like this and it hides the alcohol, then you sell me. Then you just sold me because it's 20% alcohol and it tastes like root beer. Sign me up.
That is called Duclaw Colossus.
DJ sent me a bottle of that. I'm not going to drink it right away.
You're going to bring it down for our big beer review.
You can pick it up at fucking the Sabatini's. They had them.
Ah. I gotta be home that day by noon, but I think we can swing it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably take you just about an hour to get there. So as long as you leave, we'll go straight, or you meet me at my house. We'll drive over in separate cars. That way you can just bounce straight from there and not waste any time.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. Because I'll be there. I'll be at your place early, so it's not a big deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a fucking huge deal. It's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's y'all 17.
I'm going to meet my wife has an appointment, so I told her, I said, just go to your appointment with the kid, and I'll meet you in the parking lot, and that'll save fucking time. I'll be like, yeah, what an idea. That's fucking amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the itinerary for Paul or Pierre Brune's next Monday.
Good stuff. We have 2 comments. Jason Spears says hello. Hello, Jason. Thanks for joining in. And property manager Annapolis Valley, who is my friend Peter, who is back in Annapolis Valley, is now actually running a apartment building in Kinville. Says hello, everyone. Hello, Peter. So there you go.
Gotta tell y'all.
Everyone's excited. I can tell Paul's especially excited the way he made that retarded face.
What do you mean that retarded face? Do you mean his face?
His face.
His regular face. He used his regular face. Yes.
I looked at Paul and he'd look at a retarded face on him all the time.
Okay. So, Joe, since you are the repository of everything that's happened on Love Beer Radio, what is the next topic we should delve into?
It is Matt beer reviews. It's styles. Your favorite styles, your least favorite styles.
Imperial style. Move on.
Okay. It's your retarded look on your face is making me angry. No, the styles, your favorite styles, your least favorite styles, but what styles did you gravitate towards when you first got into beer, and where your palate is now, stylistically, like where, maybe some styles that you grew to dislike over the course of X amount of years, however long you've been drinking, what styles you became accustomed to, things of that nature. So.
All right. Well, you're the first on the list, Joe. So start off.
God damn it! I was the first last time. Go to someone else, baby. Let me have a little time to think, baby.
Go to the other.
When I first got into craft beer, I pretty much stuck right to stouts and porters. I didn't want anything to do with bitterness in general. Like, bitterness was the enemy. It's like, oh, beer, it's bitter, baby. Stay away. So I really, everything that was malt forward. Porters, stouts. I didn't mind roastiness, like things of that nature, but not straight up bitterness. So porter, stouts, Scotch ales, brown ales, things of that nature. Wheat beers, I could handle the spiciness and the citrus and stuff, but it wasn't bitter. I couldn't stand IPAs. It literally took me 3 years to get into IPAs. And this is trying IPAs constantly, just going, oh, that tastes, oh, it's bitter. Oh, this tastes like weed. Not for me, baby. Things of that nature. So anything bitter. And then Matt's gonna hate me, but I didn't like Belgians to begin with, and I have. How can I put this? I didn't like them to begin with, but at this point, I understand that they're good, and I can appreciate the style. And there are certain styles within the Belgian style I like, and it's usually quads and Belgian strong darks, where anything light Belgian-y, like a fucking Belgian strong pale ale or a Belgian IPA, things of that nature, not really for me. I think the yeast kind of overtakes everything for me personally, where it kind of gets lost in the quads and Belgian strong dark. So everything I began with was malty, not hop forward. So how my palate evolved is now I love IPAs, but I still love all the malt forward stuff. Still not a huge fan of Belgians. Really lost my enjoyment level for brown ales, Oktoberfests, and most wheat beers that aren't like straight up Hefeweizen. So not a huge fan of wit beers or American pale wheat ales, because I feel American pale wheat ales are one of the worst styles, period.
Almost as bad as a Crystal Weiss.
Yeah, it's like Americans did everything they could in their power to strip flavor away from a wheat beer. That's my perception of it. Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that shit.
But if I had to go favorite and least favorite at this point, favorite porter stouts. Doesn't matter what they are. They could be barrel aged, they could be adjunct, they could be, whatever. Just regular Russian Imperials, Imperial Porters, regular. Doesn't matter. All that shit's great. But I've come to love one of my favorite styles, English barley wines. Doesn't matter if they're just regular, if they're barrel aged, whatever. Fantastic. Like them more than American barley wines. And then IPAs, double IPAs, session IPAs. Love all those. Least favorite, Oktoberfest, brown ales. I could say adjunct lagers, but for everyone on this panel, and I'm sure everyone's just like, we don't drink adjunct lagers all that often. I can appreciate a decent one and drink it, but who the fuck wants to? Jay does. But Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think, and I guess like 7 wheat beers for the most part. So
All right.
that's what.
Move on to Greg. What did you start with, and what did you end up with? What did you gravitate towards when you were starting, and where are you now, sir?
First of all, I just want to say, Joe says he's never prepared, then he gives us a freaking lecture on his stuff.
Baby, I have it all in the back of my mind because I am exceptional, baby. And what exactly? I have no idea.
I memorized my 10-page thesis. I'm not prepared.
I didn't even know we were doing this tonight. I don't remember anything.
Anyway, I mean, I started with lagers, probably like anyone else did, but what sort of started getting me into craft beers was probably fruit beers first. I really like pumpkin beers when I tried them. Some raspberry beers, apricot beers, stuff like that, and then wheat beers sort of really got me into craft beer. And from there, I don't even know how, but somehow I got onto pale ales,
And then you just cut off, baby. See you later, Greg. Moving on, baby.
You didn't say black. You didn't say. What was it?
and then my Google Hangouts crashed.
There you go.
Oh, there he's back.
So anyway, so I don't know where I cut out, but anyway, I started
Neither do we.
Pale ales and got into IPAs, and I've always sort of liked the hoppy bitter beers, kind of the opposite of Joe's. It actually took me quite a while to get into stouts, and actually barrel-aged stouts is what actually made me start to appreciate non-barrel-aged stouts, because I couldn't stomach them at the beginning, and then sort of, I don't know, it kind of worked the opposite way. And then where am I now? I'm still an IPA fiend. I love any IPA, pale ale, double IPA, whatever. But I quite like stouts and stuff now, and I still do like wheat beers quite a bit more than I think most beer geeks do. And the one style I really have never gotten used to is saisons. I just don't like them, and if you barrel age saison, I like it even less. And sours, I'm still hit and miss on.
Well, today's saisons are basically just triples.
That I didn't know.
All right, we'll move on to Brad, if Brad is still there. Are you there, Brad?
He's muted. His answer was whatever Big Rocks makes.
Both good and bad, baby. All of
Good
it.
and bad, both sides.
I assume Brad has walked off to fight Mortal Kombat or some shit.
Yeah, good idea.
So we'll just move on to Matt, and at this point, Matt's probably just repeating himself from his own podcast. But
yeah, I mean, condensed versions. I mean, I got into my beer basically Belgians and English old ales, which are probably my favorite beer still. I haven't really knocked stuff off the list that I don't like. I've definitely added rather than subtracted. But I would still say that English old ales, or like Joe, English barley wines, kind of toe the same line sometimes, are probably my favorite styles. And to echo Joe again, it's more like, I wouldn't even say like, how do I put it? All the traditional like Reinheitsgebot beers that are just so fucking generically sessionable, meh. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's probably the thing that my least favorite style of beer.
cool. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Paul. What did you start with, sir? What did you gravitate towards first, and where the fuck are you now?
Well, when I started drinking beer, I started drinking in basically German styles. So I went for more like the Dunkels, alt beer, Schmaltz beers. Then I moved on to the box and double box, things like that. That's where I kind of gravitated to for a long time. Jumped over to England and got into the English bitters, things like that, ESBs, and then started dabbling into the Belgian side. And then I finally moved over to America. I couldn't stand anything bitter, like average Joe. Then finally got over time got a taste of hops. So I definitely do appreciate IPAs and double IPAs now, things of those natures. Imperial stouts probably have to be my favorite style, bordering with an aged strong ale, English strong ale or English barley wine. Those aged are just amazing. But I can drink probably a fresh imperial stout and enjoy it a little bit more than a fresh English barley wine. But once an English barley wine has age on it, just look out because it's amazing. Least favorite styles, wit beers and just the general Belgian wit beers. A lot of the Belgian hops that taste like semen and weeds I don't like. And I mean, some love that taste. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. And then saisons are definitely number one on, or probably number one on the please stop making them list, and I don't like them list for me. Because everyone seems like everyone goes ape shit now with saisons. But, yeah.
Right on. Okay, Jordan. What did you start with? What were you gravitating towards when you started, and where are you now?
Well, first beer I ever had was Heineken when I was around 11, and till I was around 19, I was drinking Lucky Lager. But what got me into craft beer was the Belgian styles, honestly. The triples, the quads, doubles, stuff like that. Then I started getting into more different styles. Really liked the IPAs for a long time, still do. Stuff like that. Odin's Tipple really got me into that. Now, I'd say favorite styles would be the sour beers, really dank IPAs, and barrel aged, like any sort of wine barrel aged stuff. Very hipster.
Goddamn.
I like wine barrel aged beers.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Nobody mentioned Hellas Double Bock though.
I like because it doesn't exist. No, wait, maybe it does. No, it doesn't. But maybe it does. No, it definitely doesn't. That's funny. I like barrel aged red wine barrels. White wine typically are used in conjunction with saisons and things of that nature, and a lot of lighter Belgians. So fuck that. Fuck that.
Man, I like saisons if they're done well. Like, not these big 6 to 10% saison.
No, you mean provision. The ones the provision ales they call saison.
Yeah, like the 2.9. Like this one's 2.9%.
La Petite.
La Petite Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
La Petite.
Least favorite styles, ESBs. Screw those.
Oh boy.
Female and Kolsch's.
Get my knife out and cut your face off.
Paul and Lee are gonna fight you somehow virtually for hating.
It's already guaranteed you're murdered, sir. Already.
Borrowed time now, my friend.
Yeah. For me, when I started, I gravitated towards stouts and porters, and English ales, and honestly, it really hasn't changed all that much for me. That's still the stuff I go back to. I have definitely grown in appreciation for IPAs, and I do enjoy hops and stuff like that, but I've never been a big fan of just like hops that dominate an entire beer and just fuck you over on the palate. I want flavor. I want drinkability, and I find that more of English ales and barley wines and stouts and porters and stuff like that. So I don't think my palate has changed all that. Well, I guess maybe my palate has changed, but my tastes have not changed all that much.
You're still as bigoted.
What's that?
You're still as bigoted as ever.
That's right. I'm still a fucking incredibly insular bigot as far as beer goes. Yeah.
I'll drink that crap, but I want this.
I think it's fair to say, though, based on what everyone's saying, is that I think IPAs are the most difficult style to really get into, because I think there's so much going in with the hop profiles. Like, you can have everything from citrus to tropical fruit to resinous pine to dankness to herbaceousness to floral to like. There's so many characters within like a hop forward beer. I think it's with IPAs, it's finding what you like within the sub style. Do you like West Coast style pine citrus bombs? Do you like the juicy tropical fruit?
Umbrella term at this point because everyone does them a little different. So you could like this IPA and hate 17 other IPAs, and then find another one you kind of like, and then hate another 20 of them, and then love, and then hate a couple more of them.
I guess it's more you like or dislike certain hops, really.
Yeah, or certain characteristics, which in turn makes you dislike certain hops. Yeah, I mean it's like for me specifically, I'm not a huge like West Coast style. Well, but again, it's funny you mentioned that though, Jordan, is because hops, it all depends on how you use them. Where you put them in the boil, if you dry hop with them, certain things. Do you use them in conjunction with other hops? It's like you can take the same hop, put it in the boil certain times, and get completely different characteristics. Like you can take Simcoe, and you could get the Cat P super dank profile. You can get like the Puron grapefruit. It's like all those hops have different profiles depending on how you use them. So
you put a little Simcoe, Amarillo, and Mosaic in there, and boom, you win an award at a beer fest.
Yeah.
Hope everyone to the Niagara Beer and Wine Expo though. Make sure you hit that next year.
Yeah, Niagara Beer and Wine. It is May 1st and 2nd, baby, or the 2nd and 3rd. I don't remember. But just go there the 2nd. I know it's the 2nd.
Have you all brewed with what are they called? Lemon drop?
Lemon drop?
Yeah. I've had a couple beers with them.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I've had a couple beers that have used lemon drops.
Hard candy like lemon drop. I mean, it's a proper name for a hop. I mean, it's very self-explanatory. It's great.
It's like a lemon Jolly Rancher, baby.
Uh-oh. No candy references. It makes Jameson.
Oh, Jameson, you're so upset right now, but baby, it's lemon drops all day long. Before we move on, though, Lee, I wanted one other quick question that I forgot to mention there. I'm always curious for everyone that ever come in contact with that likes beer. Did you originally start drinking beer with macros? I'm always curious. Like for me personally, I drank maybe a half dozen macro beers in my life. I was always a mixed drink guy, just a hard alcohol guy. Went right into craft beer in my late 20s. Curious to the rest of you guys, did you start out with drinking beer, as you know, fucking all the adjunct lagers, and then move to the craft beer side, or is it something where you were like a hard liquor drinker, mixed drinker, things, and then just move to the craft side?
Joe and I have already had this conversation before. I drank maybe a half a beer and went right to bourbon for fucking 6 years before I quit drinking and then moved on to craft beer. So
I was the same way. I drank more than 6 beers for sure, but I mean, the only time I really drank beer was if I was at somebody's house and beer's all they had and I wanted to get drunk, then I would drink it. But otherwise, I mean, if I wanted something for flavor, I would get like a girly drink, like a pina colada or something.
Yeah, I drank shit beer because in Pennsylvania you drink shit beer in the woods.
Rolling Rock, baby.
Yeah, you drink shit beer. You have a party in the woods and you get a fucking beer ball and you fucking drink it and you try to have sex with somebody. That's pretty much rinse repeat.
Doesn't matter who it is.
No, not really.
At that point, too much Rolling Rock in your system.
And then
Pennsylvania sounds a lot like Alberta.
and then I did that for a while, and then right around when I turned 21, pretty much when I turned 21, I had my first good beer, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Then you're like, why am I drinking this shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Jordan, Lee, how about you two? I would ask Brad, but he doesn't want to talk.
Well, for me, it was always drink what's cheapest, gets you drunk the fastest, stuff like that. And after a while, I just started hating the taste of that, One too many hangovers. Yeah, and I just got into craft beer because it actually tastes like something other than piss corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps that I stopped doing drugs too, so I had more to spend on decent stuff.
Yeah, for me, I start with basically like Moosehead and Keys IPA, and I was only drinking those because at the time they were the only thing available that had any fucking flavor compared to like Labatt and Molson and all that shit. And yeah, I just as soon as Propeller and Garrison and those guys started coming on the scene, I was buying their stuff all the time. Like before them, it was the Maritime Beer Company or whatever the fuck, and I was buying their stuff all the time. And Garrison and Propeller showed up on the scene, and after that, I was basically just buying craft beer all the time. So
I still remember when I went for my very first what was it, St. Patty's Day after I turned 21. I asked off, because my company would lay off, the one company I worked at would lay off you for like a day for some reason. I said, lay me off that day. They go, no, we need you. I'm like, no, you don't. Look, no, fuck it then. I went to the bar, and I drank 6 pitchers of green woodchuck for St. Patty's Day, and I crawled home, crawled into my car, drove to work, crawled over to my machine, threw up everywhere, crawled back in my car, and went home. That was a good time.
Oh, I just remembered how I got into craft beer. You know that one band, Integrity? Punk band?
Don't listen to music. Rot your brain.
Yeah, screw that. I got to know the owner or the lead guy in the band, and he said, hey, quit drinking your shitty stuff and drink Duvel. That's how I got into it. And it whooped my ass.
And then after you drank Duvel, when did you actually have a good beer?
Oh boy.
I just put that out there because I know everybody fucking hates that or loves Duvel.
I'm indifferent to it.
I'm indifferent to Duvel. I used to drink a Duvel every year after I got married because when we got married, the first time I had Duvel was in Hamilton, Ontario. The guy actually brought out a bomber of Duvel or the 750s and just gave it to my wife and I just to split. He owned Chester's Beers of the World in Hamilton, and he's like, well, here you go, just take this, live a long time together, and all that crap. And I was drunk, so I can't remember what he said exactly, but I remember liking it. But then I bought it every year for a while and had it every time we got for our anniversary. We'd have a bottle of it, but I remember not liking it so much, not being shit-faced, if you know what I'm saying.
let's see.
Y'all heard of the Duvel Challenge?
Human Centipede Challenge?
I assume the challenge is don't be a pussy and hate Duvel.
No,
at least Duvel isn't as horrible crap drain port as Orval. So
You
that
fucking you bitch.
I was
I hate
going
you.
to say it, Paul. I was going to say it. I love it. Love it.
Never talking to Paul again. Fuck him.
fisticuffs.
Persona non grata. You're
The former co-host of They Must Be Destroyed on Fire, baby.
That's right. You bitch. You're fired.
You never paid me anyway.
But yeah,
Hate you in love, baby.
the Duvel Challenge, drink 10 European pints of Duvel in an hour without passing out, pissing, or puking.
Do I look like I weigh 700 pounds? A little bit, maybe. Just a little bit. That seems kind of extreme, maybe.
Yeah, that's a lot of Duvel. Way too much.
Yeah, I would say that is 7 European pints too much of Duvel, baby.
No,
win
I know
$10,000
Duvel has a bunch of variants now, hop variants and stuff like that, like a hop.
Yeah, they got their triple hop Duvel. They
How is that?
The one year they used Mosaic. Apparently, I didn't drink it, but I heard it was pretty solid. But
they need to come out
Master
with
of
coconut,
Puppets liked it.
barrel aged coconut Duvel.
yeah, sign me up, baby. Sign me up. Barrel aged coconut, anything. Barrel aged coconut Bud Light. I'm there.
Well, how about what's your guys' best? Well, I guess they call it an adjunct or variant to a beer. Best addition that people usually add, like coconut, Star on Ice.
Is this a serious question, baby?
Anything like that? Yeah.
Rice, maybe corn. I don't know, one of the two.
Yeah. Not coconut?
Nah, who likes coconut? Nobody here.
No, really?
No, I'd seriously go coconut or maple for me.
Yeah,
Coconut?
probably maple. Maple, baby.
Yeah, especially. Oh, Brad, thank you for joining us. We're on the topic of why did you leave us for the last half an hour? And then the second part of that question is, what is your favorite style currently? What is your least favorite? And what styles did you like and dislike originally, and then learn to dislike it? Like,
This is a
as
whole
kind
lot
of-
at once. But
yeah, just answer the question, Brad. Don't go back talk.
I'm loving this blonde ale style. Golden ales. Brewed to the Bavarian law of purity, though.
That Guinness blonde ale.
Yeah, that's a very
Fuck you, is this Guinness?
Guinness American blonde, baby.
It's the Village here in Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
how is it?
Blonde's awesome. I could drink 20 of these.
They got a black IPA now, eh? Or black saison.
The Saison. What do they got right now for seasonals? A Kolsch.
They got a few interesting ones, actually.
They make awesome beer, to be honest. I kind of neglected them for the longest time, but
Are you saying they're a little underrated?
Oh, yeah, you missed that too. You're underrated and overrated.
no, I was there.
Oh no, what was the one after? Well, no, then you just missed this one. So basically, styles. What do you like? What you dislike? What did you originally start, with when you first got into craft beer? And then, has anything changed since you got into craft beer stylistically? Have you grown to hate a certain style, like a certain style, so on and so forth?
He's grown to hate sending Cantillon to people.
Yeah, that's true, baby. He hoards it all for potential future beer mail.
I'm not a fan of the Belgian beers like I once was. I overheard the Duvel talk the other day, but I remember I used to love Duvel or Delirium. I used to buy and drink quite often, and now I haven't had one, and maybe I can't remember.
They're pretty much all the same, that style,
Yeah, that yeast is powerful flavor, so it kind of takes over beer a bit for me. What was the other question? Adjuncts, I like vanilla. Vanilla is a good
That was a
adjunct.
dumb question by Paul.
It was a good question. I don't know.
God damn it, it was a good question.
Cocoa nibs. That's a good adjunct.
What is your favorite style and least favorite style is the main question.
Man.
You can pick more than one,
IPAs,
too.
IPAs and stouts are my favorite. And my least favorite?
Sours?
Macro fucking lager.
No macro, baby. Macro is eliminated.
Well, I don't really hate a lot of craft beer or dislike, I guess.
Well, what don't you care for? Like, what wouldn't you gravitate towards?
Maybe the Belgians again.
Jesus, it's not all Belgians. Even the people.
Racism.
I like American beers.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I think American beers are the top stuff.
You like American beers better than Canadian beers?
Deported.
Pretty much.
Fucking traitor.
Sure.
You fucking traitor.
I'll agree with that.
You kill moose just for fun. You fucker.
If I
He's in
ran one
Alberta.
over, it would kill me. Scary times.
He's
They're
gonna make
they're on the corner for a warning sign.
He's gonna make a moose flavored Roush beer, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
That's one style I can actually not get enough of is rock beers.
See,
I
I'm
like
the opposite. Oh.
I like
Yeah.
that smokiness.
if I could get something that just, I need to find like beef jerky. I don't know whenever I ever use soap, but if I could get beef jerky soap, I would totally just put that all over my body all day long.
That was gross.
What would be the what would be the difference in smell?
Oh my god, it's fucked up, but also accurate.
Minimal, I imagine.
Like would there be some sort of profound difference, or would it just be a reinforcement of the existing odor?
Well, it would definitely be a reinforcement.
Yeah.
There'd be a little bit less earthiness, though. You know,
You'd be Paul walking around with double beef instead of just
Yeah.
regular beef.
I'd assume you used raw fucking beef to, take care of your armpits, baby. Take care of them armpits. No
Rub
deodorant.
yourself with ground beef.
This is a nice ribeye, baby. The ribeye flavor. Get all that blood in there.
So, Joe, do you have any other topics you wanted to steal from Matt?
Yeah, I have a whole slew of topics I'm stealing from the other Joe. The last one was just, well, more for you guys, because you guys have this thing called the channel, kind of, except for Greg. The last one they did and the last thing was how you rate beer. How do you rate beer in terms of, do you rate it just in personal preference, which, according to Jay Terrio, is not the way to ever rate beer. You got to rate it to the BJCP certification, even if you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so personal preference. Do you include availability? Do you include price point? Do you include if it's stylistically correct at all? And example, if you're drinking a coconut porter, which I did recently, and there is no coconut in it, but it's a good porter, will you say deduct points for the fact that you don't taste coconut?
Probably.
Things like that. So I was just curious, is all.
All right, we'll start with you, Joe, because you have rated beers. I don't give a fuck if you have a channel or not, sir.
Okay.
You still review beers, you still rate beers, you give ratings to beers, so your opinion is just as valid. Well, it's probably not just as valid, but I'm going to pretend it's just as valid anyway. So give your goddamn answer, sir.
I just got insulted, but I'm okay with that. Number one, I guess that would be number two. No, it's all down to personal preference. If something says that it's a certain style and I don't get it and the beer's amazing, I'm not going to be like, I would give this 100, except for the fact that it says it has caramel and it doesn't. I give it an 86. No. What I'm drinking is what I'm drinking. And if the beer's fucking amazing, then I rate it accordingly. I do see how price and availability, price more than availability. I always think specifically when you guys are reviewing on YouTube, availability is kind of stupid in terms if you get like beer trades. You do a beer trade with someone and they send you a bottle. You can't really throw it into your overall grade. You can't be like, I'd give this a 90, but since I got it in a beer trade, I'm going to give it an 85 because I'll never drink it again. You did a beer mail trade. You knew going into that you're never drinking that again. I don't see, like...
I don't do that.
No, but I'm just... Well, that's what we're talking about, Jordan, baby. I'm a little bit drunk right now. No, so it comes down to, like, I can see how price can come into it because price is a huge factor. You only have... Everyone's not made of money. You don't have... Everyone doesn't have a disposable income to go to the fucking store and just be like, oh, man, that's an $80 bottle of beer. It's mine. No, it doesn't work like that. You sometimes walk into beer stores and you want to buy, say a six-pack, a mixed six-pack. You're probably going to base a lot of things on the price and accordingly, and it should be that way. But for me, it's all based on what I'm drinking in the bottle, and that's how I rate it. I do appreciate Matt. I will say Matt's. I like the fact that if you do have to include availability and price, it's a separate score or something outside what you're rating the beer that's in the bottle. I don't like the fact that people like to include it because I think you're doing kind of a disservice to the beer itself. You're deducting points from how awesome the beer is because you can't get it easily, or maybe you paid an extra $2. It's like I don't know, how awesome is the beer? That's all I'm looking for when you're rating it.
Yeah, and I definitely think, like you were saying, like the price when you're gonna buy a bunch of stuff, you're gonna think about price. I actually think you're kind of talking about availability. That comes into it too, because if you go into the thing and be like, well, I was gonna get a six-pack of this, but they have this one, and I know this ain't gonna be here, so I got to pick this up now. So you know what I mean? That's why I do it.
I like the separate score. I like the separate score because it's like you're drinking a beer and it's a world-class beer and you're like, holy shit, man, this is a 99 beer. And then you start factoring other outside factors. Okay, it's availability. Well, someone sent it to me or I only found it once. Now I got to knock a couple points off. Then you're like, oh, the price. Well, it was double the price that this other one was. Now I got to knock 2 other points off. Oh, now it said it was this style.
I don't get that. Yeah,
it's like it goes from a 98.99 to a 92 because of it's like just rate it what's in the bottle, and then if you want to mention the other stuff on the side, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
All right, we'll move on to Greg. How do you rate beers, sir?
Generally, I do it on a 10-point scale. Sorry, I do it out of 10 on a 20-point scale, so half ratings. And I generally go mostly on my opinion to, I try to sometimes take my knowledge of what I think the style should be and compare it to what the beer actually is, although I don't think my knowledge of a lot of styles is all that good to begin with. So mostly it's a subjective rating, and stuff like price, availability, I don't really take into account. If it's like if the price is ludicrous one way or the other, like it's crazy cheap or crazy expensive, I'll probably mention it in my notes, but I usually it won't usually affect my number rating. And if it says it's supposed to taste like coconut and it doesn't taste like coconut, if I still like the beer, it won't affect the rating necessarily. But if it's something that's supposed to taste like coconut and it tastes like something I don't like, then yeah, that'll affect the rating.
All right. Brad, how do you rate beer, sir?
Poorly. No, out of 100 for me. You like that? Out of 100, and yeah, pretty much like Greg, just how I feel about the beer, not to BJCP styles or bringing cost into the grade. Just never come into my. It's never even crossed my mind to do it. I may mention if I'm reviewing one, and this is only like if it's really cheap, I'll say, and this is only Canada's still not cheap, but I might mention it. And then as far as that coconut comment, if I buy a beer that says coconut porter and it doesn't taste like coconut, probably will be disappointed. And unless it's some world-class beer regardless, that might affect the grade for sure. For me. You motherfucker. Fuck around. Coconut IPA, I don't get any coconut, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan. What kind of shitty beer is that? Oh, it's a good beer, though.
I still gave that. I like that. I'm like, this is so fucking good. Of like a double IPA, I gave it a solid grade. Anyway.
So there you go. That is a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the majority of people who drank that beer were like,
amazing.
This is a top tier double IPA. There's no coconut in this fucking thing. But you know what? I don't care because I'm drinking an awesome beer. So, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to take 5 points away because there's no coconut. No one cares. It's like, fucking great. I'm just pounding it. It doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But if it's like an average beer that doesn't deliver, and they're like baking something in there, it's not there, it might affect the grade.
Such a hater, Brad. Such a hater.
Brad.
Fuck Big Rock! I mean, I didn't say that.
Big cock.
All right, we'll move on to Matt. How do you rate beer, sir?
Yeah, I mean, if it's fucking good, it gets a good fucking score. You know what I mean? Like if a beer doesn't taste like the style that it is, I'm definitely gonna mention it, but it's not gonna affect me. You know what I mean? Conversely, like we talked about earlier, Rogue Sriracha Stout tasted like a stout with sriracha in it, and it sucked ass, so I gave it a fucking shitty score. And it was exactly what it told me it was going to fucking be. So, you know what I mean? And it tells me exactly
BJCP, what it's gonna, you're wrong, Matt.
Yeah, it's you know, it's that. And then I do the whole value and availability thing just because, you know, like Joe touched on, there's like, you know, there's beers that have graded 95s that are fucking like 2 on a value scale because they're super expensive, and there's beers that are rated 93s that are 10. And I'm gonna buy that 93 fucking billion times more than I'm gonna buy the other one. That 2-point difference is not enough for me to spend 20 times more. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And it's very, and I ad nauseum repeat it. I'm like, I always say, you know, I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. Your mileage may vary. Shit might be different where you are, but in my area, you know what I mean? And it is what it is, you know, price-wise. So that's me.
All right, cool. I think Paul's still tied up and fighting robots or whatever shit he's doing as work.
He's working? I don't.
Yeah, working, whatever. So, Jordan, how do you rate beer, sir?
Based on the label.
Nice. Matt can appreciate that.
No, I try to be neutral to all of them. Like, even if it's a beer like Cantillon, I'm still gonna judge it like it's regular sour, shit like that. But I don't know. Guess how it tastes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, the purest form is how it should be, how it tastes, right? Because ultimately, what matters is the liquid inside whatever vessel you have in it, a can, bottle, growler. It doesn't matter. It's whatever's inside.
I like to review it or give a rating based on the style, though, because, well, I had one. It was a great beer. It was advertised as a triple, but it tasted like a Doppelbock. And I gave it a terrible rating because screw that. Give me what I'm paying for, you know? And with me, I spend lots of money on good beers, so I want what they say they're giving me. If I don't get that, I'm pissed off.
Even if it's a good beer.
Yeah, I'll still drink it.
Especially if you're in the mood for that particular beer and your mind set that you're gonna drink this beer, and then you're
That is a rare occurrence, though, in all honesty.
bait and switch. No, just-
It happens a lot, honestly.
If I'm drinking, but you said triple the Doppelbock?
Yeah, I had one, like, two, actually, that were advertised as triples, and they tasted like Doppelbocks. And then there's the occasional stout that's tastes like a sour beer. Not into that.
Fuck, I had an imperial stout like that, and I don't even know what the fuck it tasted like.
It called it with probably it's spoiled, baby. It was probably not good anymore. Once you get a stout or a sour or a stout or a porter that's starting to turn, you will get sour notes unless there's like a coffee adjunct that gives those kind of like sour tinges to it, or maybe some dark fruits that will give sour tinges. But if it's starting to get sour, typically something went wrong somewhere. Typically.
Well, it's difference between if it's just expired or if it's just a very terribly brewed beer.
Don't
That's
talk about it.
That's what I'm thinking. There's probably more than a few of these shitty breweries out there that can't even brew, but somehow they're making it.
Like Minhas, their chocolate bunny stout was sour.
Oh,
And it
all those
tasted
beers
like
are
burnt
nasty.
corn.
Burnt corn.
My brother brought that over one year, the chocolate bunny, and I was like, sweet chocolate stout. We drink it, and we're like, what the fuck is this?
I should have known better when I'm buying a 22-ounce bomber for $2.79. I should have maybe like put two and two together.
I urge everyone to get their Imperial Jack double IPA. Just the worst beer you will ever drink.
I will drink a double Jack IPA from Firestone Walker. That's about as far as I'm going.
Oh, yeah, double Jack. That's good. That's so good.
Never had Firestone.
Oh man, great stuff. How about you, Lee? I mean, we pretty much know, but anything?
Yeah, I just have to say, like, after reviewing beers for like fucking 7 years on YouTube, I'm probably pretty fucking inconsistent in a lot of ways. Like, you could probably find contradictions in the way I've reviewed some beers, but I generally go for personal preference over anything else. Usually I only start like thinking about style and stuff like that when a beer really fucking annoys me and I want to really hate on it. I think I do the same thing for movies too. Like, if a movie really fucking bores me, I'll start nitpicking it, right? So if a beer really pisses me off, I'll start finding ways to nitpick it as well. And, you know, it's probably not fair, so, you know, if people don't like that, fuck you. You don't have to watch my reviews. But generally, it's generally personal preference. I don't care about availability because that's not really an issue with me.
Nothing's available to you, basically.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah, like, wasteland, baby.
Here, buddy.
I don't live in a place where that's really an issue. It's like all the great beers I get through beer mails or by happenstance, you know. So, it's not something I give a fuck about. Price, I can't really really rate on price for the most part, except for when it's like something from Ontario that's absolute fucking Muskoka. That's absolute fucking garbage and costs way too much for a 6-pack. Then I might be pissed off. But for the most part, yeah, it's just personal preference. That's why I pretty much rate on. I will sometimes tell people in my reviews that, you know, if you really like this sort of style, this is probably what the grade is for you personally. But for me personally, overall as a beer, to my taste, this sucks, and I don't like it, or whatever. So
he says that a lot too, baby.
And that's the whole thing. And that's the whole thing with all the whole beer rating thing. Like, the BJCP shit is just, that's for breweries entering competitions. That's what that's for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
BJCP, man, they screw up so much. Like, have you seen the Canadian Beer Awards? They awarded gold to a beer that wasn't even in its style.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
But then you have like everybody here has their channels and shit. Everybody's a little bit different as far as like what they like, and I think that's the whole purpose of it. Is that if you're consistent with what you like, then someone who likes the beers that you have liked consistently will then be like, okay, this guy's liking all the same shit I like. Now maybe I'll look at beers that he's reviewed that I've never had that he really liked, and I'll like those fucking beers. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole fucking point. You know what I mean? I think.
I agree. I think the one thing that the one comment that a certain person made that has bothered me for quite a while now. I forgot how long ago he made it, but I'll just say it because I don't have a channel and whatever. But there was a guy and he's from Louisiana. I don't know if anyone knows him. His name is Jay Terrio. And
Mr. Budweiser.
Jay specifically said in one review, and it caught me by surprise because I always thought having a beer tubing channel was all basically personal preference. I mean, if you want to rate stuff on BJCP or rate stuff to any kind of specifications out there, whatever it is, styles or this or that or the other, you could do that. But most people aren't going to watch your shit because what is the point to that? Like they know what styles are, and they don't need you to tell them if it's to style. They can figure that out themselves, right? But watching someone with their personal preference is always more enjoyable, in my opinion. I always am curious to see what people think about certain beers based on what they like.
That's why I love watching Chad's channel.
With a Z, 75 Z's after it?
Sorry?
No, there's another Chad's beer review, not Albino Rhino.
No, Albino Rhino, yeah. Like, the reviews on the shitty, really shitty, Labatt Dry, and those kind of reviews, hilarious, man. With Paul.
Yeah, it's those reviews though, that are authentic. Like, the reason I bring up Jay is because he made a comment in a video a while ago. I don't remember. It was in passing, but he said, bringing your personal preference into a beer review ruins the review. People watch to see what you think about the beer if it's what it says it is, stylistically or whatever. And I thought that was one of the most ludicrous, asinine fucking comments I've ever seen, because it's like, if you're not reviewing the beer on personal preference, then you better be a fucking master cicerone or somebody that opinion actually matters. Because as much as we all think, our opinions really, in the grand scheme of things, what do they matter outside from what you like? Does it really matter to anybody? Not really.
All my opinion means is some store's going to get $200 extra a month. Really.
But I mean, your own personal opinion is just a gauge for people to go by. I mean, people aren't necessarily going to agree with your personal opinion 100%, but they see different people's personal opinions on a certain product. They can group them all together and then decide for themselves, okay, I'm going to maybe try that out, or maybe I won't try that out. That's the whole purpose of the thing. If you're going by just BJCP style exclusively, that's bullshit. I mean, that's what's your name? Tanya Muskoki or what the fuck? That beer tuber who rates all of her beers by BJCP and she reads like the actual guide while she's reviewing the beer, and like this doesn't fit.
Well,
This must be a Doppelbock of some sort. Like, what the
Hell
fuck
is
are you doing?
Doppelbock. That doesn't
Well-
exist.
What the fuck are you doing?
with that, why wouldn't you just buy everything that's rated gold at the frickin' awards? Like, why would you watch this person's channel if it's complete bullshit like that?
Well, the reason why I brought up the Master Cicerone thing too is because I feel like it's in some ways to say something like that is somewhat arrogant. Like you're what you're saying is that you're rating the BJCP specifications. You are saying that you know everything about the style at that point then, because you're saying you can taste off flavors, you know what should be the flavors in the beer because you have read a little bit about BJCP. Unless you're a Master Cicerone and have spent fucking hundreds of hours learning everything about every style and can, without question, know everything, then you are not qualified to rate to style. You just don't have those qualifications. So why am I supposed to believe what you're saying?
I've read the BJ whatever frickin' guidelines. Yeah, and it's retarded. Like, if you want to rate to style, technically something like Budweiser or Corona should be 100% because it tastes like frickin' corn water, you know?
Which is fine, but everyone is saying, what I'm saying is that you got to have some kind of fucking qualifications to be able to do that. Not just, hey guys, I'm a random beer tuber and I know everything about every style, therefore I'm going to tell you if it's the style or not. That's where I kind of have the issue. When you're going with personal preference, you're not saying other than, hey guys, I'm rating this based on whether I like it or not. Not whether or not I can identify faults and specific fucking characters within a style that you are also going to pick up, because that's how awesome I am. I'm great. I can do that.
No, dude, I totally fucking agree with you. It's like it's an insult to the people who put in the fucking those hours and days and years of their life to fucking do what they need to fucking do, and then some person's like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm walking into fucking like whatever, fucking Anthony Bourdain's house and be like, let me show you how to cook this fucking meal. No, I fucking don't. No, I know how to make an omelet. Not as good as you, man. Like, what the fuck? And some people are arrogant enough. There's arrogance everywhere, because, I mean, we're talking in a camera by ourselves, so there's a little bit of ego involved. Everybody's doing the shit they're doing, but at the same time, it's the person taking themselves way too fucking seriously and thinking they're infinitely flawless when they're probably closer to.
Well, if you think about it, like, beer's kind of like food. We all don't like the same food, you know? But we can appreciate if it's a well-done, I don't know, like, crab cake or something, you know? If it's well done, we can appreciate it. It might not be our thing, but we shouldn't friggin' diss it, you know?
I just, for me, it's one of those things where it's like you guys have channels. It's like to not bring a personal preference is just, there's no words.
Whole channel is personal preference.
Yeah, like your personal preference is not ruining anything. That's what if put it this way, if everyone rated to BJCP certification or specification, they wouldn't watch any beer tubers, because it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't fucking matter. I will just go based on the fucking GABF fucking awards, I guess, every single year. I'll just find out what the best and worst are there. It's like it doesn't. People watch beer tubers because you're interested in how people present the fucking reviews, you know, the beers they get, and then what they think about them. Nothing past that. And if you do, you're doing it wrong. Like, I never heard anyone's like, hey man, I'm watching beer tubers because I want to see if this guy can tell me what an English brown ale is. No, you're not. It's the last thing you're doing.
Like, I personally watch beer tubers for their personalities. Like, there's a lot of beer tubers out there I don't watch just simply because I don't particularly find their personality. Either they annoy me, or maybe they're fine, but I don't find them particularly entertaining. So, but at the end of the day, any sort of review is subjective, whether you're reviewing, you know, movies, video games, music, sports. Like, no one really has all the same taste.
No.
You know?
And that's what you go for. Whenever you watch someone who's reviewing anything, whether it's beer, movies, anything, you're looking for their subjective opinion, and then you're going to extrapolate from that your own personal opinion. You're going to judge based on their opinion whether that seems, interesting to you. Like, you see someone's review for a movie, they say, okay, this and that about a movie, and you go, okay, maybe I'll be hesitant in actually watching this movie, or oh wait, this guy saw this and that in the movie and thought this and that about a movie. Maybe I'll be more interested in trying it out. That's the way it goes.
Lee,
and you,
can you please review like the Twilight series? That'd be amazing.
I think George should just get kicked from the room. Okay, so what I was thinking, no. So you're right, and the thing is like, after a while of watching whatever you're watching, beer tubers or movie reviewers or certain podcasts, you after a while get an understanding of whether or not your tastes line up with them or not. And I think a lot of people start watching beer tubers that their tastes line up with that guy. So it's like 90% of the time, if I'm watching match reviews and I'm watching, 90% of the time we're on the same page, then if I am hesitant to buy a beer, maybe it's a more expensive beer, maybe it's a beer I have to trade for, whatever. If he says he really likes it, and 9 out of 10 times I agree with him, I'm going to be more inclined to try to acquire that beer in some way. If 50% of the time our palates align, I'm going to be like, I can't take that chance. I use it in that aspect. I use it as a tool in some way.
Yeah, that was pretty much the point I was trying to make, is that you gravitate towards people because you end up being like, wow, this person's really similar to me. So then you take their opinion more heavily influences you if you are looking for something, or if you're like, okay, what I want to get something new. Maybe I want something new. I can't even think of what I want. I want to, because it's almost like using BeerTube as like the Pandora of fucking beer, like where in Pandora you want to find a new fucking band or whatever, you plug it in there and see what pops up. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you can go in there and try to find something new that maybe you never thought of buying.
I always, in terms of beers, I always find it like more of an in-depth way, more so than like a Rate Beer, Beer Advocate, Untapped. I can go to Rate Beer and I can go look at a rating for a beer, and I can go get the generalized opinion of a beer. And more often than not, if I go to Rate Beer and a beer's rated a 95, it's probably a pretty good beer. Is it a 95? No, it might be an 85 for me, but it's probably a good beer. But if I do it with the beer tubers that I enjoy watching, I'm probably a lot more accurate in things that I'm going to get out of certain beers. So it might be a little bit better of a tool for me to use than just the internet in general. And that's the way I go about watching beer tubers.
For me, the general group of people I watch is just because I enjoy their reviews. Like when I maybe first started years ago, I was like, I want to see what someone thinks of this or that, but the regulars that I watch are just because I enjoy them. So.
Yeah, if he doesn't watch a channel, he's shit. That's what he's saying.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
Well, it's like Greg saying personalities, right? It's like, well, I like this guy's personality. I think we'd get along. He's a good shit. And I like watching his reviews.
To a degree, it's true that, like, after a while, when you're in the community for so long and you make friends and stuff like that, you start watching the same people over and over again. There's a bit of an echo chamber effect to a certain degree, but I don't think it's necessarily to the point where it's damaging anyone's opinions or honesty or anything like that. It's just a familiarity, and you want to watch the people you like. That's all there is to it. And sometimes you agree with them, sometimes you disagree with them, whatever, and that's where what you gravitate towards. So.
Or you want to watch the people that you extremely dislike.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching any of Dave's fucking videos.
Oh.
I like watching the reviews where the people actually like what they're doing. Like, certain reviewers just seem to be there, hey, let's make it 2,000 reviews. Let's make it 3,000 reviews. And just, I'm going to throw a name out there, Greg's Beer Reviews. Not by law, Greg.
Who's that? Who?
The,
let's go see what's in the fridge today, baby.
I have no idea who you guys are talking about.
Today.
I don't know. Who's this great guy?
Is that a beer tuber? I don't.
He sounds like a beardy freak to me.
Did you say Dar's beer reviews? Because I don't.
No, Greg would eat Dar. He'd put him in his belly.
Hey, get in my belly. Yeah. No,
come on, guy. Get my belly, guy. Tap and grill.
The worst beer reviewers online, in my opinion, has to be I'm a so fat.
What? I enjoy the Amosofats.
Oh, I hate them, man. Their reviews are, let's pour it, drink it. Oh, I don't like this. Okay, give it a 3 out of 10. Just like, piss off.
To
Don't
be
just
fair,
say, I don't like it.
that's you can have that opinion, even though it's wrong. No, it's one of those things where I think a lot of their earlier reviews were a lot better. They have been, and to be fair, I think they are one of those beer tubing channels that kind of have not quit, but kind of just gave up. Like they very frequently post, and when they do, it's just like, oh, this new beer came in. They don't even call them beer reviews. We're gonna examine it. We're just gonna look at it. And it's like I understand, but they kind of lost the passion for it.
Yeah,
And
they're super
really
casual
does-
now. They got
yeah, it
lives.
really comes off.
Let's put it that way. They got lives. Back in the day, they were like doing videos all the time, and now they got lives.
They did do it with Chad though, so that throws into question how.
Yeah, they tolerate Chad for some reason. Although whenever you watch videos with them and Chad, you just kind of see them kind of like.
Showed up at our house again.
Yeah.
Tolerate.
We are being stopped, baby. Call 911.
We is tolerating this asshole.
They're like,
because we're really nice people, and yeah, you know, they're definitely nicer than I am.
I just showed up at their house and they were home, so I brought a beer though. You better bring a beer if you're gonna pop in. Lee, you froze in like a really wicked
that probably
thumbnail.
remember that. Remember that video Chad did with the fucking with Peter Master Hoppets, where he was in the United States, and basically trapped him in his car there for like.
They were in a parking garage. Weren't they in a parking garage?
He's like trying to get out too. He's like, "Why is the door locked, Chad?"
Don't knife me. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
And please don't rape me before you kill me.
It's like anything else, though. Again, I hate the harp. It's personal preference on people you enjoy watching, people you don't. And we're all going to have, people that we really. And again, it's within line with your palate, but also the enjoyability of how entertaining they are, and so on and so forth. We're all going to have guys who are going to go, "Oh my God, I like that guy," and you're going to be like, "Huh? Why do you like him?" It is personal preference.
There's people out to make a name for themselves. And in that review you were just talking about, Peter says, "I'm here with Chad." He's like, "Chad's beer reviews, like, you gotta mention the whole moniker. It's not worth it to do a review with you. Just using them for the name."
I agree. Whenever I'm in a review, people don't, call out my channel by name. I get very angry.
Yeah, well, you see,
troll.
Your channel,
You get so angry. You hate that.
I do.
Your channel's the only channel I like because it doesn't have any actual opinions on it. It's like
it's great. You can just stare at a blank screen. It's fantastic.
It's
like that Joe's a really great guy because he has no fucking opinions at all, no videos. I can really get along with that guy.
I don't know what he likes.
I
why is he on my chat? I don't understand. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring up the whole J thing because I still think at the end of the day it's one of the most ridiculous comments I've ever made. Don't rate to personal preference. Rate to how the beer is supposed to be a style. I'm just like I can't.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that statement. That's just weird. I don't even think he was thinking about that statement when he made it.
Not at all.
I hope.
But
he's gonna call you out on that, Joe. Be ready for that.
You can call me out, whatever. I don't care. It's truth. Go look at your. I could try to find his fucking video if I cared enough. I'd go back and find the exact quote, and I'd be like, "Hey, you said it, not me." And I'm sure all of his followers would be like, "Oh, you're right, Jay. You are right."
Well, shit, Brad should know that firsthand at this point, shouldn't he? Like all his followers probably jumping on him and shit. That guy's a fucking asshole. Just called you out, Jay. And,
I don't think there was anyone who really did.
oh, really? Awesome.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with what Brad said. I mean, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people.
It smells like hop oil. Like, fuck, could you be any more vague? How many different hops are there? Hop
Well,
oil.
it's just like people saying it's malty. Well, it's just like anyone saying, oh, it's very malty.
When I review the next IPA, I'll say it smells like hop oil and it smells like malt.
Yeah. No, it smells like water.
I just described every beer made. It smells like hops, it smells like malt, and yeast. You know that hop oil smell.
It smells
Maybe
like
for maybe
There's water in there.
Say like one hop in particular, I'll have an idea of what you're talking about.
Well, I think if you're reviewing anywhere, doesn't matter if you're writing reviews or you're on YouTube or whatever, the people would like to watch and or read your reviews because they would like somewhat of an in-depth perspective of the beer. So when you lay out generic terms like, oh man, this is very hoppy, what the fuck does that mean? You know how many characteristics there are within each individual hop, let alone how many hops? Oh, it's very malty. All right, how many malts are there? Oh, it's very yeasty. I don't know what the fuck that means. You know, I mean, it's like your job is to kind of describe it, and if you can't describe it accurately on a consistent basis, I'm not saying sometimes you get thrown for a loop where you're like, man, I just can't pick up that flavor. So my best description is it has a yeasty spiciness or something. Fine. But if you're in every review going, there's hop oil, or man, it's malt. There's a little bit of malt, a little bit of hops. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for that fucking great description of the beer. There's a little malt, there's a little hop. Thank you. Like I didn't know that going in. If you can't accurately descript it, then I don't know what you're trying to do on camera or in a review because you're not doing a service to anyone, and if anything, you're doing a disservice.
Yeah. Who you talking about, bud?
No, just in general, people like that like to throw out generic statements like, "Oh, it's very hoppy." I mean, anyone can fucking review a beer and say, "Hey guys, it's hoppy." Like
that's what my dad says, which is cool.
That's what my dad says, and you know what? They're not in the fucking front of the camera saying things like, I'm reviewing a beer." They're like, "Joe, you're a piece of trash." I'm like, "Dad, shut up." Come on.
Ooh, this
hoppy
one's
is hoppy's a terrible descriptor anyway because there's all kinds of different hoppy. I mean, is it hoppy as in bitter, or is it just hoppy as in it's flavorfully hoppy? You know, like.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. It doesn't tell you shit really, other than
English hoppy, American.
Yeah,
hoppy.
it doesn't tell you shit other than you detect hops in the beer. Well, good for you, there, sailor. Fuck off.
Honestly,
Keller's 1,000 IBU beer. It's hoppy.
It's bitter. It's bitter and hoppy.
I detect hop oil in this beer.
It tastes like beer.
Yeah, it tastes like beer. Exactly. That's pretty much the same fucking thing, really. It's like, oh, it just tastes like beer. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I bow down to your infinite knowledge on tasting notes.
There are certain beers that all you can say is it tastes like beer.
Yeah, when I say that shit, it's like it almost exclusively relates to macros that are just so indifferent from every other fucking macro. It's like everyone knows what you're saying, right? It's like this tastes like Miller, Bud, shit.
It's your grandfather's beer.
Well,
yeah.
But it's not your father's root beer. Am I correct?
Fucking
the thing is, no, I had no idea you would say anything like that, but I was on top of it, I'll tell you that much. No, it's one of those things where, like, in general, if you're using generalizations every time in a review, or like 90% of the time, then you're probably not doing a great job. That's all it comes down to. There's a time, place for everything, and like I said, people will just randomly, if you say, man, I can't think of anything other than say it's really malty or malt forward, that's going to happen. I'm sure every single person here has done that probably plenty of times. But if you're doing that in 9 out of 10 reviews, then what the fuck are you doing?
True.
Like some beers, like stuff like, I don't know, just the generic macros. Yeah, I'll do that. Like, no hops. corn. There you go.
Yep.
Like,
There's
Well,
even styles that aren't macro that you could do that to. I mean, there's a lot of boring styles on the craft. I fucking hate the word craft beer. We'll go with Matt's thing. On the good beer side of things, where there are styles that are just fucking, they're boring. Like you can say like 3 or 4 characteristics and you're done. There's not more to say.
Yeah.
Well,
Simple beers.
fucking cream ales, for fuck's sakes. Like, how many of them really have anything all that distinguishing about them other than, yeah, that's a beer?
it's creamy.
Yeah, or, I mean, you can even go to like a lot of pilsners. You could say, okay, what does it have? Okay, the malt's a little crackery. You get like a earthy / floral / spicy fucking hop character. It's crisp, it's clean, done. Great, fantastic. That just described 90% of the pilsners out there.
Like, literally, the only descriptor you can give is, like, it's almost as good as Pilsner Urquell, and other
in the
than that,
can, not the green bottle.
yeah, not the green bottle, in the can. It's almost as good as Pilsner Urquell from the can, so, 3 out of 5. There you go, baby.
Here we go again. That generic hop oils, man.
I mean, the way you call them out is kind of funny, but the whole Dave comment was even funnier. I mean, I shouldn't say that. But yeah,
Dave
no,
that
the
was
Dave
just
comment.
to be an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It was good times.
I'm good at that.
But I think Jay, I mean, I think he would admit that he has a tendency to say hop oil on it. He's trying, because he can't accurately describe the certain characteristics or qualities to the hop. So he just says hop oil.
You
Now,
dubbed the hop and mentioned me again, but actually gave like descriptive notes on the hops. So I was
Yeah,
like, wow.
it's like, don't say hop oil, give a flavor. Anything.
Yeah, she did.
It's
So it's like, there.
tiny.
I could get an idea of what it may taste like if I drink it.
Yeah,
Don't
like,
y'all be dissing Jay. He's a good guy. Y'all come down to Louisiana.
Listen, I'm not dissing.
All
I feel
I picture this rotating closet with like every baseball jersey known to man, with the matching hat. Minor leagues.
He does have a
major
lot.
league.
He does
It's
have
impressive,
a lot.
dude.
It is crazy. I don't even know where he keeps all that. It's a
Put in
lot.
mind that, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
yeah.
That scene in there.
Oh, you read my mind, Paul. As long as he doesn't have a tit fest in there, it's alright.
Listen, this is going downhill.
It's really going, man. It's a good thing no one's
He's
actually
gotta-
watching.
He's got to be the ultimate American stereotype. And I gotta love
Fuck
that
you!
guy.
Fucking sorry, you guys just heard that. Say yikes.
If that is the typical stereotype of Americans, I am gonna fucking shake myself in the penis later.
Oh,
That is
wait, no,
unbelievable.
I've been to Europe. That is
You know how
typical
Canadians
stereotype.
feel now with the Newfies representing us.
Oh, shut up, you hoser.
Yeah, everything. If you pronounce all your O's with the, it's a process. What the fuck is a process, bro? Things of that nature. I'm sorry.
How did you say star anise? Star anise? What were you guys saying?
Star anus.
Sorry.
Amnesty.
Isn't it just star anise?
I thought it was star anus. That's what I used to say. But I think it's anise. I think it's honestly anise. That's how you say it.
I just say
What
tit
was
like
Paul
licorice.
saying? Like some
Listen,
Mexican
we don't
slang?
know what Paul says half the
You don't
time.
know what
It's
we say.
gibberish.
I don't know what I say. Anise? I say anise? Like Ann Harbor?
That's
I
because the
don't
black metal's too loud, bud.
Idiot.
He probably says star. It's a bit too thin. That's what he says all the time.
Star.
Everything. Star. It's a bit too thin.
Yeah.
Thin.
This
Well,
is
that's
probably
why
the thickest beer I've had.
comments about please don't play the black metal in the records. I said, I need this to cover up the bullshit I'm talking. Would you knock it off?
Who asked you not to play it, Paul? Come on.
Paul, they came in and said,
You're
"No
awesome.
party. This is not no party. No party. It's just great. No party.
Take it
No
loud,
party.
loud,
Everyone here-
quick. Get him out.
Everybody here is having sex. No party. Well, what? Settle down.
Well, if you
Settle
want
down.
to have sex, that's fine. We can three-way you. There you go. No party.
It's our Canadian friend with the hearing aid. Leave him alone. He's discrimination.
Nobody.
No party.
No party. Listen, I understand. Listen, no party. No party here. Okay,
No, we're leaving
listen.
right now. No party.
Yeah, we're going right now. No potty. Let me tell you again. I don't need you to tell me again. I'm out. I'm not even in the room anymore. I'm leaving your property.
No potty.
Oh man. Yeah. Great times.
Oh jeez.
So you didn't have a party then?
No
What are you
potty.
saying?
No, there was no party planned. There was no party gonna happen. Greg apparently he yells as loud as like probably a half dozen to maybe a dozen people having a conversation at once, all by himself. So he's so like it was crazy loud. Like it's not even exaggeration. Within 30 seconds of Greg entering the room, she was at the door telling us there was no party happening, and we're like, we understand. He just came here. He's dropping off beer, but you're not allowed to have a party. You get that, Greg? You have to leave now. Like you talking
Three
way.
guys drinking, doing reviews outside, being stupid, not a problem. Greg shows up, ruins the whole fucking thing in 30 seconds.
I can't. But that is the craziest thing. We actually did a trio review where we're fucking not yelling, but we're talking louder because we're all next to each other doing it. No issues whatsoever. Everything's peachy keen. The thing's fucking 15 minutes long. Greg shows up, no party. I'm like, all right. Never.
Greg shows
Where were you
No
at?
party.
We were down the street from Albino Rhino's place. Paul and Matt got a motel for the weekend, and I was over there because we were all going to go walk down to Chad's, and we decided to do an impromptu quick review in front of their fucking motel, and we did, and everything was fantastic. And Greg shows up, and Greg told us he's loud, but we did not believe him. I didn't believe him. He is loud. He walks into the motel room after. He drops my beers off for me. I have them for him, and he's talking so loud to us within about 2 feet of one another that within 30 seconds of him entering the fucking motel room, the owner comes in and tells us we're not allowed to have a party. That's how loud Greg was. She thought there was a party in the fucking room. There's 4 of us sitting there, and we're not allowed to have a party. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Greg being in the room. That's how loud he was. He probably said,
This place is built for couples to enjoy the weekend together. We cannot leave with the yelling and this. I'm like, okay, I know the room's a thing, but I didn't hear one moan or a big ass bang the whole time from any of these rooms. I don't know who's in the rooms enjoying themselves. The walls are that thin. I didn't hear anything.
No party!
Good
No
times.
party!
I wish I could have recorded that. It was hilarious. Yeah, bylaw.
He seems so quiet though.
Yeah, that is wrong.
No.
Everything.
No, not at all. He
But
talks
I
like
guess-
this all the time. It's like one monotone voice that doesn't really go up or down, and it
I
has this
agree.
constant tone to it that never changes.
No
And it
party.
gets
You
louder.
shut up.
It does get louder when you get drunk.
Jordan, imagine you being screamed at constantly, but you're not being screamed at. That's exactly what's happening. It's like you're getting scolded, but you don't know it.
That's like half my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, but to his credit, he told us about it. I just didn't think it was going to be that ridiculous. So when we get kicked out of the hotel or the motel, I'm like, this is new levels of ridiculousness. Like, I have no idea what just happened.
I guess I got something to look forward to when I come down to Ontario next.
Yeah. I don't know. The 3 of us, for some reason, could like build a patio
Okay.
outside. We were fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we were making fun of people walking down the street or in their little cart rolling down the street. It was a great time. Like, everything about it was fun. And then Greg got
We
there.
sang the Canadian national anthem, and nothing happened. And then
Yeah.
Greg shows up.
Yeah. I mean, Greg's an awesome guy, but goddamn, is he loud? Like, there's no way around it. Like, he's even in the. If you look at some of the reviews at Chad's, like in the basement, like we're all reviewing them off camera. He's like, I got a fucking 5.5. Which is like, Greg, you're a foot away from us. Like, we understand. Just 5.5. We're good. Just fucking scream at me. Settle down. Like, Matt's cracking up because it's fucking true. Like, every review, he's yelling his numbers. I'm 77.75. All right, Greg.
Yellow.
How much of y'all are coming down to the festival next year?
Paul's on the phone. There's probably a good chance I'll be there, just because I live fucking half an hour away. So
I'll be there.
I plan on it, but I don't know if I'm going to be there or not.
He's gonna fuck us. He's gonna fuck us again. It's gonna be something.
I'll bring y'all some crazy ass brews.
Usually a lot of brews. That's the only thing is there's so many. Like if you're not there for like 3 days straight, you're not drinking any of them. Like you're drinking like a quarter of them at best. Like the first night we went there was like, I was just like, you got to drink all my shit because I'm leaving tomorrow. I don't want anything left over here that I don't get to try. That's right, selfish. And we drank all my shit in about 2 hours. It was kind of magical. Then they don't even go back Saturday night. I look at all the reviews from Sunday. There's like 30 reviews from Sunday. I'm like, what the fuck? Everyone on Sunday, like some of those reviews looks like you guys didn't even want to review them. Like you're not kidding. What is this? That's a fucking beer from Nova Scotia. I don't know. It's from New Brunswick. It's somewhere in the Maritimes. And then fucking Paul's over there just like
eating pizza in the background, like staring in the middle distance.
There is one review where they're fucking arguing about the pizza. When I order pizza, where we're gonna order from? I'm like, the one review Paul's talking so much that Nick tells him to shut up, and then the next review he's pissed off, so he doesn't talk for half the review.
Hey, Brad, me and Beer Zerker, we're saving up some money. Bunch of us Alberta beer bastards are heading out there, man. Raise some hell.
When? Next year or what?
Next time round.
Nice.
Okay, guys, I gotta go.
All right, Matt. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Well, even though no one has seen this tonight, it was enjoyable. Appreciate you at least putting it up, Lee.
Yeah, they'll see it afterwards after I fucking unprivate it. I fucking Google, man. I didn't realize that if I didn't share it publicly from the fucking get-go, it would be fucking private. So.
Yeah, it's really weird that they make it so difficult. I don't understand why.
I can always host it on my channel if y'all down for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's very infrequent that Chad doesn't do his BDU, but
yeah,
I don't care. I mean, I don't even mind doing offline stuff because honestly, just talking's fun. I mean, chatting with one another. I mean, the interactions with the exactly. Like kind of just being in a bar.
That was the whole point of this anyway. It's just like because I knew most people have a sort of you get into the routine where like Wednesday's a day where everyone gets together and fucking talks about beer, and Chad wasn't doing it this Wednesday, so I figured at least provide a space for everyone to fucking get together and bullshit. So.
AKA he is saving the day, baby. That's what he's doing. He is Lee Hougly.
So did you see that David Hasselhoff video?
What the one for Kung Fury?
Yeah.
He did the music video for Kung Fury.
I haven't even watched Kung Fury yet, but that looks amazing.
I'm 10 minutes through it.
And he looked great. And he has a small cameo in Kung Fury as the voice of Kung Fury's car, so it's like a throwback to Knight Rider where he's Kid instead of. Yeah.
The video is too funny.
That's fantastic.
I'm ready for some action.
I'm 10 minutes into Kung Fury. I'm enjoying it. I gotta watch the last 20 or so.
I watched like 2 minutes and said, I need mushrooms for this man.
Pretty much. All I gotta say is I'm glad it's not a full-length fucking movie, because if it was, it would be.
Oh yeah.
It would go really, really bad real quick. But
at the end, you would want to fucking slice your own throat. That's how I can already tell. Like 10 minutes in, it's kind of. I won't say it's getting rough, but I can understand. Like in another 20 minutes, I'm gonna be like, thank God this is over.
Yeah, 30 minutes it works really well, but other than that, it's like fuck that shit. Like I would not want to watch this for 2 hours. Like it would just be too much. But
it's got an odd style to it. It's very
like you get like hot Viking babes and lots of Nazis getting killed and shit. So so it's not too bad. You get Thor. Yeah, there's dinosaurs like Viking babes riding on fucking raptors with lasers and shit. Like it's pretty cool.
It was all in the music video. I didn't realize it was actually a movie they made. I'm like, what the fuck's with this video? Holy fuck! Old Lamborghini Countach's and David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's got like 14 million hits already. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, they crowdfunded it. Like they wanted to raise like $2 million to make like a feature-length video or whatever, and all they got was $640,000 or something like that. So they had enough where they can make the short, and that's what you see. And hopefully they get no more money so they can make a feature-length. I don't want to see that. I hope they just stick with what they got. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a different idea. I like it.
Have y'all played Elder Scrolls Online at all?
Not me. Haven't played it.
I'm wondering how it is, because I don't want to spend frickin' that much money getting a new system, all that stuff, just to play a bullshit game like Skyrim.
Well, I know it's on Xbox. It's coming to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, I think now, or whatever the new PlayStation is. So fairly cheap compared to buying it on a fucking PC or whatever and getting the service. I think you can just like get it for Xbox One and stuff now, where you don't actually have to pay the online fee or whatever. So.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the quality of the actual game, because like Morrowind and Oblivion, I loved Oblivion, man, but Skyrim was kind of a letdown to me.
I never even played it, but it came with my Xbox 360. I think I put it on for 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't like this kind of game. I don't like this shit. Playing the remastered Resident Evil.
Well, Elder Scrolls Online's different, where it's not like first person where you can just roam around and do whatever you want. Like it sort of is, but it sort of isn't. Where you run into different situations and you do different missions and stuff like that, where you're in like a sort of a free roam environment. It's
World
like
of Warcraft kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like Red Dead Redemption Online, where you could run into missions and stuff like that and keep doing them over and over again and shit like that. And although it's not as, I guess it's not as action oriented as like just like regular Elder Scrolls or something like that, where you're like physically like slashing at people. Like I think there's more like sort of a turn-based element to it and like scrolling through menus and shit. Yeah, more like Final Fantasy in a way, I guess, from what I saw.
Yeah, I'm a lone wolf kind of player, so I guess I'll stick to my Oblivion.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't like Oblivion because the enemies level up with you, which I never liked. Like,
yeah, that pissed me off.
It just felt like you're not achieving anything. Like you get up to like level 30, and it's like, what have I achieved? Absolutely nothing.
Well, what I did was get absorbing and reflecting armor. So after level 60, I just kill some guard, stand there, go out for a smoke, come back like 10-20 minutes later, and I'd just be surrounded by dead guards everywhere. It got kind of boring. Like, you can do whatever at that point.
Yeah.
Like, give it some sort of difficulty, you know?
Yeah, my favorite of the series is Morrowind. That's the one I like the best.
Dude, I rebought Morrowind, but these bastards out at Xbox are like, no, you can't play it on your system because it's an old system. And
you can play the Morrowind Game of the Year edition on Xbox 360, but you can't play the original on Xbox 360.
I have the Game of the Year and it doesn't work for me
Oh,
because
really?
I don't have Xbox Live.
Oh yeah, because you need to get the update to make it work. Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Yeah,
How much
so
does that cost?
Well, actually, I think you can download it through just like the free Xbox Live, like
Silver, right?
yeah, Silver. Just a standard Xbox Live is free, and you can get that. You can just download patches and stuff through that shit. Because I haven't been on Xbox Gold now for like half a year or more. So and I still get the updates and patches. So you just get on Xbox Live with your 360, and you get all the updates and patches. So
Yeah, I can
be,
just download it?
you should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, just throw the disc in and it should automatically pop up. It won't even let you play it, I don't think, unless you update it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. You gave me just like probably 200-300 hours of good times. Good on. I probably spent like 800 on Oblivion.
Jesus.
Fuck, son.
What the fuck? 800 on Oblivion? What? I hope you're saying hour. I hope you're saying hours and not dollars.
With hours, it's been 4-5 hours a day for probably 5 years.
What the fuck? What did I just hear?
That's a lot of gaming, baby.
I love this. It's almost as much as I've drank beer.
I know a few people like that I work with that just game hard as fuck. I used to on like the Super Nintendo, I think.
Fucking Super Nintendo. Come on, Bradley Flair, what are you doing?
It's if you were in Super Mario World, some fucking Donkey Kong Country.
I don't game. I game hard on certain games. Battles, or what's it called? Star Wars Battlefront. Damn!
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one a lot.
You're all losers.
Fuck you, Rhino, you fucking sick bitch.
If you don't like Star Wars, I don't have shit to say to you.
I didn't say I don't like Star Wars. I said you're a loser.
So how you feeling there, Chad? Are you recovering any, or what's going on?
I'm on a pill that is part of the penicillin family. I'm deathly allergic to penicillin, but I am only slightly allergic to everything else in the family, so it's fucking with my mind.
You
Okay,
sound
so you're pretty much the same as you always have been, because you're certifiably and fucking insane anyway. So
No, it's worse than usual.
no, okay.
I stood at work, I stood at work
like
looking at the ice machine for 45 minutes yesterday.
You're like a boring insane, not the hey, let's set fire to a building kind of insane.
Yeah, you sound more cool and calculating. Like you could probably you're devising ways to stab Joe in his kidneys next time you see him.
I'm trying to figure out where I put my my clippers so I can shave my head. I don't know where they are.
I should go bald again.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Oh, so I went to the new Niagara Brewing Company today to buy some beers. They said they had 4 in cans. They only had 2. So right off the bat, they lied to me. So I get there, and the 2 beers they have is a Beer Devil IPA and the Amber Ale. And pick them both up. It comes to $7.10 for 2 cans, and I'm like, yep, fuck you guys.
So really, for what size cans?
473s.
Fuck that.
Well, right, what they did, right, is they're owned by Falls Hotels. They're in the same building the Rainforest Cafe is in and everything else. So what they're doing is the same thing as the breweries that open up in Niagara-on-the-Lake. They're like, hey, tourists, let's rape them. Forgetting the fact that, you know, after May 2 to Labor Day, Your only business is fucking locals, and they're not going to be paying you $7.10 for 2 cans of beer.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad. What was that brewery that first day of them selling beer to the public was at your festival?
Mash Paddle.
Nice. Good shit.
Ask Joe.
They had an alt beer. They had an alt.
The guy with the glass.
I don't know.
It was a good alt beer, mister. I didn't have it, but I'm going to make fun of it.
Hey,
Actually,
fucking alt beer.
you know what? I was doing my 2015 Canadian Brewing Awards recap today, and there wasn't as many oh my fucking gods as usual in that, but the ones that were oh my fucking god were oh my fucking god. Like, how the fuck did the Minhas win an award?
How are they even in a competition? Shouldn't they be banned from everything?
I
would
was
think.
bitching about that for such a long time, man. Like, why?
And then Waterloo IPA won in the English style IPA category.
Oh,
That makes me so sad about the English style IPAs in this country.
Man, you just been so down on Michael Arnold. You need to shut up.
You know what? They won a bronze with Eclipse. Michael Arnold did with Eclipse in the Scotch Ale category, which is kind of weird to me because Eclipse was the Russian Imperial Stout. But hey.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That was what the fuck.
Oh shit!
What was that?
Things like that. Just make me go, yeah, I don't even care anymore. This stuff is
That Bad Tattoo Brewing Dark Ale or whatever it is won 2 different medals in 2 different categories. What's going on?
There's a lot of shit that just I sat there looking at it going, what the fuck? And then like Four Winds Brewing winning Brewery of the Year, okay, whatever. But I said Brasseur de la Foot so much more than I said Four Winds. It's like they just want BC to win. They want BC to be the be-all, end-all of beer in Canada because you just see things that were all BC and nothing else, and it was like nobody in BC.
It seemed like BC's kind of become the San Diego of Canada.
Like, there was no Phillips in there. Of all the BC brewers, I would have bet Phillips would
They
have been
make
there.
amazing beer.
What about Driftwood? That's another. No?
No.
That's probably their best 2 breweries out of BC.
I've heard good things of Driftwood too, yeah. And I'm
Driftwood's
fucking American.
awesome. There you go.
That's weird.
Ribstone Creek won 1 for this beer, actually. Old Man Winter Porter.
Great Western won like 6
Very good.
Great Western out of Saskatchewan won like 6 awards.
Well, isn't the whole
they're
thing...
bullshit. Every
Is it?
beer I've had from them is complete bullshit, man.
So, Jesus. So how's the entries going to this? Like maybe Phillips didn't put anything in there?
Well, that's the thing, right? You never know who's in, but this year they had the most entries ever. They had like 1,600 beers across 47 categories.
Maybe they know these awards mean fuck all anyway.
What
so
I
they don't
really
even
think
bother
is hysterical is that you can just stack an entire category. Like the gluten-free category all went to Glutenberg. You shouldn't be able to put 3 beers in the same category. Just
You shouldn't be able to put the same beer in 2 categories, should you?
no.
Yeah, were they the only gluten-free brewery that entered that fucking thing?
I don't know.
Probably.
One or 2 more.
Like I can't see the gluten category being, a substantial amount of.
Well, what is it? There's one here in Ontario. Clock Tower, I believe it is a full-on gluten-free brew pub. Then you have a gluten-free beer made by Nickelbrook. You have a few gluten-free beers here and there. Yeah, it's just weird that you can put in as many beers as you want into one category. I think that would be the category.
Like Glutenberg Red is terrible. Their blonde is passable. It's pretty decent, and I've never had their IPA or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Their beers taste like rancid ciders. Let's face it.
But
well, that's
the
the problem.
gluten-free. That's the gluten-free market, basically.
Yeah.
They all kind of do, except for the ones that aren't truly gluten-free.
Yeah.
I've never had La Messier's or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't
don't
ever want
even.
to. You don't ever want to. Nope, 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 nope.
Basically, the Glutenberg beers are 10 billion times better than La Message.
Yeah, well, let that
That's
be your guide, sir.
Oh
What
my
was
god.
it? Your buddy Chad. I think maybe the cartoon he puked on 2 out of 3 of those reviews.
Yep.
He pukes on all the gluten-free beers. There's something in there, right?
Yeah, I think there's something that he's allergic to.
Probably the rice syrup or something like that.
Probably the shittiness of gluten-free beers. Jesus, those are terrible. Oh my god, I remember when Chad gave it to me. Oh god, you know what?
Because they all use like rice syrup or sorghum malt or like
Sorghum,
whatever.
rice malt, rice syrup,
Yeah.
buckwheat,
I want the
millet.
gluten. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's gross.
Someone once said during a gluten-free review, you know what, if you're allergic to gluten, quit drinking gluten-free beers. You're just encouraging bullshit. Drink frickin' whiskey or vodka, whatever.
I
Quit
think the best gluten-free review was the one where Paul, the cantankerous cook, said, "If you are a celiac, kill yourself."
Pretty much. I mean, me if I was a celiac, I would just switch to whiskey, like straight up. Like that's what I do because I get as much enjoyment from it as I do beer. So.
Well, it actually tastes like something instead of what it is. Or go and drink a cider. Drink whatever you want to drink.
I could handle ciders. There's enough ciders now where I could get.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't drink gluten-free beer. Drink a cider. Drink this. Drink that. There's so many choices. Drink something other than gluten-free beer.
Speaking of.
And if someone who's gluten-free is trying to convince me that a gluten-free beer tastes okay, no, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't taste good.
And the best gluten-free beers are tolerable at best. Like that, you're like, if you get a good gluten-free beer, you're like utterly surprised. You're like, this isn't terrible. Like that should not be positive, but it is. It's a gluten-free world. Unless you get the gluten-reduced ones that remove the fucking the gluten, by the yeast strain or what do they actually put in there to give
they put
clarifying agent?
Yeah, that takes out the fucking that's supposed to help take out the gluten, but it doesn't get it down to 0, which is why.
Like Stone's Delicious IPA, they're like it's under like 10 or 15 points per million or whatever, and so it's technically a gluten-free beer, but it's not completely gluten.
Y'all know my opinions on Stone. I love Stone. In my opinion, best brewery. They're delicious gluten-reduced shit. I wouldn't drink that. Not again, man.
I didn't mind. It was too bitter though. I thought it had significant.
I mean, you get different degrees of people with the celiac too, because remember their Rhino where we had what's his name, Adam? Was it on
Luke?
Luke, right? Luke. Where he was saying that even like the really like gluten reduced beers, like they just still had enough amount of gluten in them to affect him, right? So, I mean, it's different for all different like people with that condition. So.
Oh, one thing is, way back in the day, my brother was diagnosed with celiacs, so he couldn't even eat his own birthday cake. And for like years, this went on. And the doctors told him, "Oh, we mixed up the diagnosis. You're not celiac. The other person is." Imagine.
How dare they deprive him of his own birthday cake?
I'd get that whole cake and just annihilate.
I would fucking boot the doctor in his dome piece. That's what would happen.
That too.
You ruined years of my life.
You're getting a case of beer and a birthday cake right fucking now.
Be like what you call it in The Outsiders, fucking eating on the floor watching Mickey Mouse with the cake and the beer, baby. That's what I'd be doing.
The cake and the beer, man. Cheesecake, man.
Yeah,
Good.
Speaking of which, I wanted to, we were talking about gluten-free stuff, but how many 100% unfiltered ciders has anyone ever had?
None. Zero.
I just picked up these 2 cans that just showed up recently from this place called Down East Cider House out of Boston. Completely unfiltered, completely all natural stuff. Although they do put, Chad would disagree, but they put sulfites and sorbate in it, preservatives, right, for everything.
Yeah.
But like, it's just it's pressed ciders and fucking. I had their original blend, and then the other one had cranberries. They are fucking so unfiltered. They look like grapefruit juice or fucking orange juice. And there were, like, it said on the side, it was like, don't be afraid of, like, chunks of the sediment because it is real fruit. I poured out the cranberry, and I'm looking at the bottom of my fucking glass, and there's, like, chunks of shit. And I'm like, this is the greatest yet most disgusting, but still greatest fucking cider ever. And I swear to God, dude, the fact that they were unfiltered made them taste so much better. Like, it was, like, it was like the difference between a Hefeweizen and a Crystal Weiss. It was just like, it was like, wow, man, like you're getting, it was so good, and I'm like, most ciders need to do this.
Twin Pines does it with their scrumpies. They don't filter their scrumpies.
Oh, it's so good.
You heard it here first, folks. Fucking Joe ate chunks of shit.
I ate chunks of fucking possibly apples or cranberry or actually pieces of shit. I'm not sure.
Pieces of shit.
Well, Brickworks Cider House doesn't use any sulfites or sorbates. It's all natural right there.
Is
all
it?
natural shit.
But it's filtered, right?
Big chunks of shit.
Fucking douches. Yeah, no, I like Brickworks stuff. It was good.
And we'll end the live broadcast on Joe eating shit.